Everything in this universe has a beginning. The Big Bang. The formation of nebular matter into stars and planets. The first collections of amino acids in the Earth's oceans. The first creatures to leave them. The first mammals. The first primates that walked upright. The first religion. The first printing press. And ultimately, the first synthesizer. Robert A. Moog created the first practical, playable instrument way back in the late 60s. And no matter how powerful the synthesizers of our day, nothing comes close to that lovely, warm and organic sound of a Moog synthesizer. Here is an example for you to ponder.
Hello, welcome. Hey everyone, welcome to another Sunday. It is Warhammer Sunday. Now, I believe that some of you had some playback issues in the stream earlier, so do tell me if you can see me and hear me hunky-dory. Peachy Dory, as someone recently said. Yeah, let me know if you can see me and hear me, okay? Welcome. It is Warhammer Sunday. It is that time of the week again when I work on my Warhammer army, the unending forces of the Holy Contrivance, and hang out with you guys for 3 or 4 hours, or 2 or 3 hours even. Just because, may as well, while I'm sat here doing some stuff, may as well hang out with you guys. So welcome one and all. If you've not been to one of these before, I'll basically crack on with some work while hanging out with you guys and chatting. If you want to ask me questions, please, for the love of dog, do, because I depend on your feedback and things you're saying in chat to give me things to talk about. So, yes, you can put a question in chat, which is, you can see the chat here. However, if you want to join in the real chat where you can actually do the typing and the talking with the typing, then make sure you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching it somewhere else, like off Patreon or somewhere else, just click on the little YouTube icon that's down in the bottom right hand corner, and that will insta-magically take you to the YouTube page where you can watch the stream and join in the live chat. And I'll be doing some sticker giveaways later anyway that you'll need to be in the live chat for, so there you go. As always, yes, I depend on your questions, so put your questions in the live chat. Make sure to put them in big fat capital letters. If you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the live chat window where you type. That will put your question in a big fat coloured box. It'll also make a little noise at this end, so I know you've put a comment, because I might miss your comments because the chat's over there for me on an iPad, and I'm here looking at whatever I'm doing. So if you want to do a super chat, feel free. And as always, we're still doing the stream boss battle. As you can see, Aviad is still the stream boss with I can't see the screen from there. 75,014 healths. It's an ongoing weekly thing where one of you will knock him from the top spot by getting his health down to 0. You'll become the stream boss, and if you do get him down to 0, you will win 200 to 300 quid worth of Games Workshop or Forge World goodness of your choice. And as always, how do you do it? If you're not already subscribed, you can subscribe at this channel, hit the notification bell. That'll take a little bit of his health off. You can do a super chat, like I just mentioned. The more you put through as a super chat, the more of his health you'll take away. And if you want to, you can do a tip through the tip jar, which is streamlabs.com/model making guru. And again, the more you put through as a tip, the more health you take off Aviad's health bar. And all the money that goes through the super chats and the tips is collected together, and that's what pays for the 200 to 300 quid worth of prizes that you can then select if you win, if you get him off to 0. So, get putting things through. Right, I'm out of breath now. That's all the blurb out the way. Let's have a look and see who we've got in. Now, strangely enough, if I remember rightly, I can't actually get right back to the very top of the chat, but I don't think Pascal Leaverse was the first in chat. Again, he's getting a bit slow, getting a bit out of practice. I think somebody beat him to it, but I can't remember fully because I can't see the top of the chat now. I can go up to where Dad, hey Dad, said, wrap up warm then. And then Chris Smith said, morning Nim. That's as far back as I can go on the chat. So we've got Chris Smith and Dad, and apologies to anybody who's chatted, who popped in before then, because for some reason my chat cuts off there. I'm just going to move something out of the way. We have Nim is in, obviously. Let's have a look who else is in. At the moment it's Chris Smith and Nim talking in the chat. Then we've got Candygram from Mongo. Greetings all, hope you had an enjoyable Thursday at Gross Models. So I'm guessing Chris is in as well at Gross Models. I'll get there in the end. Who else is in? Cy Reynolds is in. Welcome, Cy. We have Ghost Lyle says, well, hello, welcome, Ghost. Pineapples and all that. And Nim gives him pineapples, and Ghost Lyle gives him a pineapple back. Just don't ask. Don't ask. Borry Models and Osric 9000 and William Rayborn all enter in as well. Hello, hello, hello to all of you. We have Blanco. Somebody mentions, Candygram from Mongo says, I'm imagining Foxx warming up for the show, taking grand gulps of coffee and enjoying a nice street waffle or some death noodles. And Blanco asks, 2-minute noodles or what? I love Korean death noodles. Just packets of, bang them in the pan and heat them up noodles. Proper Korean ones. Oh, yeah. But no, my preparing for the stream is getting everything set up for the stream and then sitting twiddling my thumbs for 10 minutes because there's nothing else I can do for that 15-minute pause apart from, just get myself ready and everything set up, so it's not that exciting. There's no noodles involved. I go and make my enormous brew in that 15 minutes. Sometimes I may go and use the facilities in advance, so I'm not going during the show. You didn't need to know that. Jamie Bone is in. Welcome, Jamie. That's far too much information for you all. You're welcome. Mark Dale, afternoon all. Max and I turned in. Hey Mark, hey Max. Welcome to another show. Has he taken you to Warhammer World yet? Yeah, did you notice I changed the title of last week's stream once it became a video on the channel? If you haven't noticed that, Mark, you might want to go and check last week's video. William Rayborn is in. Welcome, dude. Chris at Gross Models. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I forgot that bit. My eyesight's terrible today. I'm having trouble seeing the chat. Where that chat just moved. Somebody said something and I've missed it now. The chat just jumped. Daniel Hals is in. Hi all, watching whilst building a Blood Bowl team and Conquest January delivery. Yes. Cy Reynolds says, Model Making Guru, or anyone in chat for that matter. As you know, I'm a newbie airbrusher. Other than learning spray patterns on paper and painting an army of plastic spoon, any starting tips? We'll cover that in a bit. Gross Model says, practice. That's kind of it, really. Dad says, practice. Thy creator is in. Welcome, dude. Just got back from holidays. He or she. See, I don't know a lot of people. I don't know if it's a he or a she. So, could be a he, could be a she. Thy creator says, just got back from holidays. Hope it was nice and sunny for you. Thin your paint, and then when you think it's thin it again. Says Dave at Butch That Model. Welcome, Dave. Use a model you don't care much about as a canvas for practice. Yep, it's called a test pig. Nim Cinderane says, I was the first model making guru and have strawberry cream Twinkies. Ooh, I like Twinkies. I've never had strawberry cream Twinkies. The half sight is in. Welcome, dude, or dudette. Wayne Haywood. Welcome, Wayne. William Rayborn. Good morning, Fox. Okay, so go back to airbrushing. yeah, practice. Basically, don't overthink it too much. When you're starting out, get used to taking your airbrush apart, because I've always say this, whenever you first take an airbrush apart, if it's a little one with a button on the top, if it's a trigger one, this doesn't really count, but if it's got a button on the top like a regular airbrush, then the first thing that will happen is the first time you clean it, that trigger will fall out and you'll crap yourself. You'll be like, oh, I've broken my entire airbrush. You haven't. Don't worry. Everybody does that. Wobbly camera, my apologies. Everybody does that. It's like a little rite of passage. Just get familiar taking it apart, putting it back together again. Do a lot of practice. Just practice. Try not to think too much. And the one piece of advice I would give everybody, which is, about thinning paints. If you're painting Vallejo Model Air, you don't actually need to thin them. If you're using Pledge, Floor Care Finish, 2 times more shine, or Clear or Future, anything like that, you don't need to thin that. That's sprayable straight out. If you're spraying primer, like the UMP primers, for example, don't thin your primer. You don't need to. Just put the pressure up. But if you're using any other paints, thin them and just make sure, don't worry about percentages and ratios and this and that. Just make sure they're about the consistency of skimmed milk. That's all you need to think about. Is it kind of as thin as skimmed milk? Yes, then it's probably fine. There you go. Get it to about that consistency, and then if you have any problem spraying, you can just increase or decrease your pressure as required. So always be thinking skimmed milk. That's all you need to think about. Blanco just pulls an airbrush out of nowhere. What the? Yeah, I just kind of went, if you got a brush like that, there you go. Whee! It's just a magic brush that comes from nowhere. It's a bit like Sam and Max, where Max just kind of pulls his gun out from somewhere, and nobody really wants to know where he gets it from. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard, Sam. Oh, I love Sam and Max. I actually watched an episode, a Sam and Max cartoon the other day, and it was fantastic. I hadn't seen it for a long time. It was the Glazed MacGuffin episode. Obviously, they toned the humour down a bit for the kiddie audience, but it's still Sam and Max. You still can't go wrong. Do you need to thin the lucky varnishes, says Adam Clark? No. You can do, but you don't need to. I just happen to have a drawer that I pull from nowhere as well. You can do, but I don't need to. I actually follow the instructions literally as they appear on the back of the... For once, Ammo actually give you instructions. Literally, put it in the pot, I think, depending on... They do vary. Ultramatte is about 15 psi. Satin is 17 psi. Varies a little bit. The only thing I would say you can do differently to the instructions on these is it does say spray a coat, then wait 5 minutes, then spray another coat, then wait 5 minutes, and continue ad nauseum until you get the finish you want. You just do very thin misty coats. You don't need to wait 5 minutes. For the matte and ultra matte at least, you can just spray your very thin misty coat and then just hit it with air from the airbrush, just air, for 20 or 30 seconds till it mattes down. When it's matted down, after about half a minute, 20, 30 seconds, you can go over with your next coat. It's fine. It's a lot faster. You don't have to wait 5 minutes between coats. Like, did you keep it in your pants? Says Blanca. You don't want to know. We'll move on from that one. Like I say, you don't know where I keep it. It's a mystery. It's magical. He must have that infinite bag. I have a bag of holding. What can I say? So welcome everybody. Today I'm still working on my Hydra/Wyvern because I haven't decided which one it's going to be, and what I'll probably do is just build all the weapons so I can just swap them out and make it one or the other. Now, if you've not been watching this, this is me building stuff for my own army, which, if you're not familiar, it's going to be from the Mobile Suit Gundam universe, it's going to be a Principality of Zeon themed army. And just by that, I mean, it's a normal Warhammer army, but I'm painting all the colours and colour schemes with the Zeon theme in mind. And I'll have some little things in there. For example, I'm going to have 3 Imperial Knights. One I've already done, and it's done up to look like a Zaku, so it's battered and beaten in green. One will be done up to look like a goof, so it'll be all in shades of blue and have Rambaral symbol all over it. And one will be done up to look like Char's Zaku, so it'll be nice and shiny and red and clean. And we'll have lots of other things. I've got some Tempestus Scions I'm in the process of painting. They'll be painted up to look like sort of Char's personal guards. They'll all be in reds and whites and silvers. We have other vehicles. The Imperial Guard are going to have some various colour schemes, but I'm not sure fully on what they're going to be yet. But again, they'll still be Zeon themed. So we'll have lots of Zeon markings on all the vehicles. I've got the Wyvern here that I'm building / Hydra. I've got the Chimera that I was very kindly gifted. That's been built. I've got a little walker thing, a 2-legged sentinel. I've got that done. I do have a Lehman Russ. What else do we have? There's something else and I've forgotten what it is. There's other bits and bobs. It's going to be quite a varied army with lots of different things, basically. I'm just kind of making up as I go along and building what I think looks cool. Once I've got a load of stuff built, then I'll start trying to figure out how to build it into an actual army. Thy creator says, I've just received the Master's brush cleaner I ordered 1 month ago. How do I use it? Anyone knows how? Yep, dead easy. You need the Master's brush cleaner, you need a water, and you need your brush. And all you do is get some warm water. It works best with warm water. This is just a teaching episode. I don't mind just doing teaching instead of building. Get some warm water. Not hot, just warm, you know, pleasantly warm. It works better with warm water. Get some warm water. Get your brush that needs cleaning. Get the brush in the warm water. And what I tend to do is you can either just get it in the water and just run it around a bit. Very gently, don't need to push down. Just rub your brush around on the soap to work up a bit of a fluff and a lather. Just get some more water. Make sure you're getting a good foam. Just treat it like soap, getting a good foam. When you've got some foam on there, just massage it very gently. Try and work it in. Sometimes what I'll do on bigger brushes is I'll get some of the foam and fluff on there and I'll put it in the crook of my palm there and I'll just move it backwards and forwards because I want to try and get the soap up into the ferrule where the brush goes. So I'll work it in like that. And I'll get it in there, and then once I've done, I'll simply rinse it in the water again. Very gently squeeze it out, give it a couple of rinses, and then when it's fully rinsed, what I tend to do is just flick it to get the water out, and then in my mouth I'll just go and make it to a point, and then if it's got a plastic tube, and I can get it back in the plastic tube, you put it tip down, so it stands like that, then all the water that's in there drains out to the tip of the brush and just drains out into nowhere. If it's not got a plastic tube, I'll hang it up so that the bristles are pointing down. And again, that's just so that any water that's left in there can drip down off the brush. One of the reasons that brushes go like that and splay out is because paint and crud and crap gets into the ferrule and down into where, because the bristles carry on down here, it gets into there and dries and goes crusty and pushes all the bristles apart, and that's why you get a splayed brush. So whenever you clean your brush, just make sure to either store it tip down if it's got a plastic safety tube, or if it hasn't, just hang it up somewhere so it's tipped down. And that's it. Just treat it like soap. Literally just get the brush, swirl it around. I tend to move it in circular motions. Sometimes you've seen me just do it purely in the crook of my palm there. I'll just get the brush and move it around. You're just smushing it around in the soap basically. The only trick is just use, and then when you're finished, get a piece of tissue and just wipe off any paint and residue that's in here. There you go. It's just literally like soap. The trick is just to massage the brush a little bit and make sure you get some of the soap up into the ferrule, and then make sure you're getting it out again when you rinse it. And by holding it down and rinsing it and then doing it point down, it'll make sure it all comes out the ferrule. That's it, dead easy. Your brushes will thank you for the rest of your life. Use the darn point hang on. Cy Reynolds, model making guru, use the darn point making slits in that darn water pot, Fox. You can do. I've actually found they're not that great. They're not actually that great. They do work a bit, but they're not as good as just doing it with your lips. But yes, they're alright. Burger vines. I don't know what that means, but I want to eat them. Burger vines. Canning from Mongo. I'd grow grapevines if they would. Oh, I see. I would grow grapevines if they would yield burger patties. Oh, yeah. I mean, if they could yield just fully created burgers that are already cooked, that'd be fantastic. I'm not sure where we got from there. Hang on. How did we get to that? Wait, what did I miss? Why a goddamn Lorax meme? What? I've lost the conversation here. I've lost the thread. Also, your spelling just makes me think of grapevines, except with... I'll just move on from that, because I don't know how that arrived or how we got there. Coffee. Aww. So, yes. So today, assuming I get on with some work, I'll just be carrying on with my Hydra / Wyvern. And the only big difference between the two is the different guns. The Hydra is the anti-aircraft with the big long anti-aircraft with 4 big long turrets like that. And the Wyvern has got the little stubbies that's more like a mortar for ground assault. Anyone going to the Bovington Model Expo show? I'll start that again. My eyesight today is terrible. I do apologise. Let me just rub my eyes a little bit. Right. Jamie asks, is anyone going to the Bovington Model Expo show on either the 16th or 17th of February? I'm not. I know Dad says he might go to Tankfest instead. But if anyone in chat is going to the Bovington Model Show, you have to be in the UK, obviously. It's a UK-based show at the Bovington Tank Museum. I've never been to that, actually. Don't question the chat. It's not a safe place, says Ghostlight. Yeah. You have to be this... Welcome to the chat. You have to be this insane to join. Let's get some work done. So where are we up to? It's not that bad in chat. If you are watching this and you're not in the chat, why? Come and join the chat. It's all fun times. Right, so last week we got the hull built, the lower hull, with its Matilda-like tank parts. Just makes me think of a World War II Matilda tank. Matilda. Did all this. So what I need to do now is add a bolter or a heavy flamer to the front. And I shall add a heavy bolter. But I shall build both because I think they might just slot in rather than glue in. So if they do slot in, I can swap them out. Because a heavy flamer is good for close-up attack, whereas a bolter has got more long range. So, I'm just making it up. I don't know. I don't know these things. I don't know the real life nonsense. Tankfest it is, says Dad. It started with Ghost Carl's post. In fact, Dad, we better start thinking about tickets before they sell out, says Dave. Well, in that case, Dave's going to the Tankfest as well. Ghost Lyle says what? Nim says exactly. Blanco says or have access to the warp. I'm tuning out from that now. It's getting far too scary in there. Right, so on this sprue we have 3 little pieces. I think I'll just put that sprue to the side for now. I'm suspecting I might not need those. Right. There's a piece of machinery on this tank, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll zoom in a bit. Let's see if I can find the zoom control. Hang on. I don't know if you'll see it, but where's zoom? It's very windy outside, by the way. If you hear wind, it's actually the wind outside. This piece here. How much does that look like a Warhammer Pip-Boy? I'd be tempted to print out a tiny, tiny Pip-Boy screen decal and stick it on there. That'd be very tempting, actually. Except I can't print decals. There you go. So it just looks like a little Pip-Boy. That's cool. I like that. Anyway, I'll just shut up now. Zooming out. So what do we need? We need the flamers und the bolters. Okay, Dad and Dave are talking about Tankfest. Where would artillery be in range for a flamer, says the Blanco. I guess it's in case anybody runs up to the front and attacks them. But then again, you said, why would the enemy run up to the front where the flamer is? Yeah, and not up to the back where the dudes are. It's Warhammer. None of it makes any sense. Asking why something would be set in a certain way in Warhammer is just... It's a pointless exercise, let's just be honest. It's never going to end well. So this is the... I think it's the flamer. It doesn't actually look like a flamer, but I think it's the flamer. Oh. Flamer. Oh, I can't quite get the nippers in there. That's a bit of bolter. Hello, little bit of bolter. What would you say to a little drink? Hello, little drink. It's an old joke. It's an old two Ronnie's joke, never mind. And there's 2 hearts here. So, how the devil is everyone, anyway? How are you all doing? I hope you've all had a good week. I've had a bit of a busy week. I've been cracking on with the latest Warhammer Conquest video. Episode 5, I think, which is issues 11 to 14. So I have a load of aggressors primed and ready, and I have the foul blight spawn or whatever he's called with his little nurglings. He's been painted and primed and ready, and I've got some ammo crates primed and ready. I've also built the shipping crate, the big shipping container, but I'm painting that in a separate standalone episode because that's going to be like a little weathering masterclass. And if you excuse me for a second, I've got an itch on my back, so I need to use my patented back scratcher. Hang on. Oh, can I get to it? Oh, that's just so good. Oh, that's good. Mama Fox got me this for Christmas. It's a telescopic back scratcher. It's literally the best thing I've ever owned. Yes, I've got the episodes. I'm just about to start filming the painting part of that episode. Painting those dudes. Now, the thing with the Warhammer Conquest videos, as I'm sure you'll figure out, as you know, what I intend to do is find the bits I need to... I've got them all. What I intend to do is stick to the magazine and how they paint things. But for some parts, just every now and then, I will veer off track and paint them in my own particular way. Just so that, you know, for some things, I'll actually show you how to do a proper paint job. Because the thing is, I don't know how far the paint job in the magazine is actually going to go. It could come out looking like really, really awesome heavy metal style. It could be that the way they tell you to paint the things in the magazine is dead simple, and you just end up with some really basic, you've just barely painted it stuff on your tabletop. But I don't know. But I want to kind of do it tailored for people who've never painted anything before, so I'm following the magazine. Because, you know, you get the magazine each month, it's telling you how to paint it. So I'm sticking to that, but occasionally, for some things, I will then break off and do a standout episode that just focuses on that particular model and shows you how to do a proper paint job using lots of products that aren't in the magazine. But as I'm sure you can imagine, for the majority of episodes where we're just filming stuff that's going to be in the magazine, it's going to be a lot of episodes that all cover the same thing. So this episode will be, here's how to paint all the lead belcher and gold and other colours onto these Space Marine dudes, which we've already seen. So you do have to excuse on that series. There will be a lot of repetition. But they'll add more colours and things like that, so it'll get more exciting. I think in this one we've actually got a pot of Mechanicus Standard Grey as well. I'm not sure what they're going to paint with that yet. So we'll see. But yes, I will be doing standout episodes or separate episodes. So for things like Captain Calcius, or as I keep calling him, Captain Calcium, that'll be a standout episode where I paint him properly, like a grown-up. For the shipping crate, or for at least one, because you get 3 of them, so one of the containers I will paint properly. In the magazine, they have you just spray it black, or paint. They have you paint it black, but I'll just spray it black. They have you paint it black and then just dry brush it with Mechanicus Standard Grey, and that's it. And it's like, well, that's just really kind of a bit pants. So it's like, no, won't be doing that. Thank you very much. So I'm going to paint one of them properly. Where's me things? One of the crates. So we'll have a crate. We'll have Captain Calcium. He'll be painted properly. There is a Nurgle hero character who's kind of in the same way that Captain Calcius is like a named hero character, or you've got the librarian. I'll do one of those as well, because I'll do both sides. So I'll have a properly painted Space Marine and a properly painted Nurglage, and I don't know, it might be the Biologus thingy, whatever he's called. I don't know yet. I think there's one that comes later on in the episode, in the issue I've not got yet. That might be a proper... I don't need to get rid of that nub because that's going to go inside. So yeah, there'll be some of the bits, some of the vehicles. So for example, I'm not doing a special how-to on the little 3-legged thing, the Blight Hauler, but we have got some other vehicles to come. There's a Rhino. There's a Chaos Rhino. Is that actually going to be... I'm going to have to glue this in. Okay, well, because I'm not magnetising it, these do need to be glued in. So there's no point in me making both the flamer and the bolter, because I can only put one in there. I mean, I don't have to glue it in. It just fall out every time I play with it. So I might just make the bolter. We'll put that to one side. Spare parts. It's no big. I'll probably end up by the end of the whole project, I'll probably have like 3 or 4 of these. So I might double up on my vehicles. So we'll get this bolter glued together. It's most handy how there's no actual pins and holes. So get it glued together. Now I'm not going to do too much sanding on the nubs and stuff yet, because I'm going to glue it together first, and then I can just... One thing, a little tip for you: if you've got like nubs on either side of something that goes together in two halves. Get the nubs down, but don't worry about them too much. Don't sand them. Get the thing together and glued together. Then you can sand nubs away, and you'll make sure you can also sand away any seam lines and make everything level. If I do the nubs on this side first and the nubs on this side, guarantees I'll end up with it won't be level and it'll have a step. So it's better to glue stuff together first. So I'll get this glue head. Oops. So yeah, so there'll be standout issue episodes, and there'll be, for the majority of it, it'll be following however it says in the magazine. It does mean that obviously for a lot of people it'll be the same thing in every issue, in every episode. Like, here we're painting the same guys, because there's lots of Ultramarines and there's lots of Chaos guys, and they're all kind of the same. But that's fine. And for you guys who are, you know what you're doing with a paintbrush or an airbrush or whichever, then that's where the more advanced lessons come in episodes. So a little something for everybody. It's going to take over 2 years, so a year and a half. I just hope, it's just difficult to know excuse me, what the paint job will be like when it's finished if you're following the magazine. Because I don't think they give you enough colours to do a fully hardcore paint job. I don't think. I don't know if they even give you all the flesh colours. It's like the fact that you I mean, in my case, I've primed the poxwalkers with the Death Guard green, but at the moment they're having you paint all the little bits of pustules and things with Bugman's Glow in advance of other flesh tones, but the flesh is supposed to be like a pale pallid flesh colour, so why am I not painting the whole figure Bugman's Glow? So I'm a little concerned about some things. We'll see how it turns out. Right, so that's that bit, those two bits glued together. Thankfully on this you end up with a bolter that's actually got a hollowed out barrel, which is fantastic. So leave that for a moment to sit and set. It's got oil paint residue in there. Ghost Lyle says the magazine is not that good. No, it's kind of really basic. I mean, the magazine is kind of aiming itself at younger builders and absolute beginners, I think, which is fine. It's not a problem. It's introducing people. Hang on, quick trig. If you read through the magazine, it's designed to be aimed at people who know nothing about Warhammer, so basically kids. It just happens that a lot of people who already build and buy Warhammer are actually buying the crap out of it because it's really good. Smoke grenade launcher, which is what's the number? Let's look at the number. There we go, 26. There we go. Don't know why I bothered. It doesn't actually tell me where it'll be on the sprue. 26 is there. There we go. Yeah, it's aimed at people who've never even seen a Warhammer before, don't even know what Warhammer is, so it's kind of who it's aimed at. Although it's probably mostly people who know what Warhammer is, who are just taking advantage of the massive army for the reduced price. Hang on, I need to clear my throat. There we go, that's better. But, the fact that the magazine's full of lore and history and storylines and stuff, it just kind of tells you it's aimed at the non-Warhammer modeler, so maybe the younger one. So it is kind of aimed at them. So they're not going to do full in-depth, complicated, how to paint, because it's even simple things like, they don't get you to prime the models purely because they can't probably ship rattle cans of primer very easily at all. So instead of actually, maybe suggesting it or doing it some other way, they just don't mention primer. They just have you painting. So there's compromises, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all. Because for absolute beginners and maybe younger builders who've never made anything before, they get these like mint-looking models that they can now build up and paint up slowly, and they'll probably come out looking fine. And they're learning in each issue how to play the game a bit more. For more advanced builders like us, we just get some nice models with about 300 quid less expense, and we can kind of ignore the magazine really, logically. But we do a bit of both. So yeah, for us, the first thing we do is throw away... Sorry, I'm clear my throat again. The first thing we do is throw away the crappy brush that comes with it, and then go out and buy a load of extra paints, and just ignore the painting guide. But, you know, hey. Except for people who aren't familiar with it, or anything like that, that's the wrong tool, then it's, you know, it's great. Especially for younger builders. It's all just good fun. Doodle doodle doo. I shall have a look at the chat in a moment. Let me do me scrapey first. Yeah, for the beginner it's a good introduction. For the experienced Warhammer modeler, it's a cheap way of buying 2 armies. Let's just be blatantly honest. And you might say, well, it's 900 quid or whatever, 800 quid in total. It's like, yeah, but you're getting like over a grand's worth of stuff. So it's cheap compared to if you bought all those things individually. You pay a lot more. Now, somebody asked me the other day, actually. They said, is it going to come out in the US? And I was like, I don't know. They haven't said it would. But then I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a look. So I looked up Hachette. I did a little bit of research on Hachette Partworks. And I could be wrong about this. I could be completely wrong. And I hope I am. But, you know, I found that Hachette have offices in various different countries. In various different places. Except the US. There's a Hachette office in South America. But I couldn't find one in North America. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're never going to release it in the US just because they've got no distribution chain set up, because there's no office there, there's no Hachette division, or if they do it through their South American sort of, you know, branches and offices, in which case that's kind of a nice road in. I hope they do. I hope they do. Okay, so that's that. Little grenade launchers or smoke launchers with a seam line in all the awkward little corners. Thank you very much. Lovely. Do 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 do. Nice. Nicely. So anyway, yes, getting back to what I was saying about half an hour ago. I've been, you know, fairly busy this week. I've been working on my little army. I have also been working on the Strike Rouge Autori, the Strike Mauve, and I'm getting pretty close now to finishing that. I've just got to finish the display base and the last few bits and bobs, little touch-ups to do here and there, and that will be then complete, pretty much. So it's basically almost finished. What else? I'm doing some other bits and bobs, you know, offline, like not building stuff things. This week was the dreaded week of the tax return, so that happened as well. Tax return, thanks Obama. Yeah, so my tax return got sorted. Deep joy. So that took up a little time. That's a little bit loose. Tiny touch of glue. There we go. Grenade launcher attachmacated. Smoke launcher, not grenade launcher. Smoke thing. So that's been going on. Tax return. Right, let's have a quick look at chat. See what I'm missing. Do 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 do. Okay, there's a lot of chat I've missed. Let's have a look and see. We just scared Fox. My life is complete. I've forgotten what that was about now. Oh yes, with the chat, yes. Just stepped out. Candy Gruff Among Us says, just stepped outside to spray prime Neko Busu, the Bandai Armoured Kitty. Number 2, I'm playing Build Along with Fox today. Yay. I don't trust the wind, says Ghost Lyle. The wind took my brother. Blanco says $100, 100%. Dad knows all about wind, says Dave. Well done. Nim says it's cold. It's going to stay cold like for the next week or so. But other than that, just chipping away at my Zaku. If you want to know how cold, it's minus 9 degrees C. And you're just on the Canadian border, aren't you? Just on the American side of the Canadian border, if I remember rightly. See, almost Canada. Not the other end, as we found out last week. In the next couple of days, it's going to get 44 degrees centigrade. I would love for nothing more than minus 9, says Blanco Blanco. You're down in Australia land somewhere, aren't you? 44 degrees, that's just illegal. Apparently, all last week, it's been, because of the way the weather system has kind of gone up over UK and then down into Central Europe, places like Greece and Turkey have had like metres of snow. Like several feet of snow in Greece and Turkey. And yet we've had balmy, warm. It's been quite pleasant, actually. A little bit windy today, a little bit of rain, but not much. It's been quite pleasant. Apparently we're going to get more snow, but maybe not. But I made the terrible mistake of reading an article from the Daily Express. I know. Why did I even bother? It was a link from something else. I was like, oh, it's an Express article. I'm here now. I may as well read it. And it was pathetic. It was like the first half of the thing was like, oh, Armageddon, meters of snow, and Greece is falling apart. Austria's under miles of glaciers, and people are dying left, right, and centre. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. It's going to come to us, and it's going to kill us all. We're all going to die. And then it said, and we expect 2 to 3 centimetres of snow. I'm like, what? After all the build-up saying it's the end of the world, 2 to 3 centimetres. So what you're saying is, it's winter. We're going to have a normal amount of snowfall. Oh, I hate the Daily Express. Absolute waste of a newspaper, that is. Speedy Correct has mostly been a zombie after getting back from New Year break, back to work, then recovering this weekend, with first lay-ins since forever, starting to feel humanoid, and I need to catch up on peeps. At least I'm not in Darwin, says Blanco Blanco. G'day. I'm enjoying Conquest after returning to the hobby after 30 odd years, but the painting tutorials in the magazine are going way too slow for me, says Daniel House. Yeah, it's because they have to... Something's down by my feet. What's that? A thing of PVA glue. Yeah, they have to go at the speed of the stuff they're sending out to you. So, yeah. That's the whole point of a part work, is you build it up slowly and slowly. Really slowly. If you're used to just buying a kit and building it and painting it, yes, it takes a lot longer than that. Let's have a look. Underdog Painting says, howdy peeps, welcome Underdog Painting. Dave went in the Warhammer shop this morning for 2 pots of paint, came out with 2 pots of paint, Resolve of Iron. No, you just didn't notice all the other things falling into your bag. There's not things you didn't buy, there's just things you didn't buy right at that moment. They're all there. They're on the shelf. You've not paid for them yet, but they're all there. You saw things that your brain acquired. Just haven't paid for them yet. Speedy Correct. Have some Warhammer parts to post for you and Chris. Who's that for? Is that for Dad? Who's Chris? Wait, what? I've lost now. Dave says, no, Dad, I got a pip. And she gave... Oh, yeah, because Dad says you've got deep pockets and short arms, and he says, no, I've got a pip, and she gave me the look before I left the house. Yeah, so he's basically under orders from the missus, don't go buying all this crap. So he had no choice. Blanco says, lol, I didn't understand at first. I thought the colour was Resolve of Iron, but then someone corrected it to Iron. I'm so heckling stupid. Yes, I got some Resolve of Iron. Blanco, like, came out with 2 pots of paint, Resolve of Iron. Jesus Christ, he's misread it. Just go back and read it again. There you go. Bugman's Glow with Druchi Violet will be the way they are probably going. Really? No. Bugman's Glow, Reichel Flesh Shade, Cadian Flesh Tone, Kislev Flesh is the correct way to do it. It's the correct way to do it. The lore bit of the mag is good if you missed 30 years of lore. The Tyranids and Necrons did not exist when I first played 40k. Well, yes, says Ghost Lyle. Anti-pineapple, they will not learn. There's something going on here. Pineapple, wait, what? Axelrod, good morning everyone, welcome, dude. Rakoth Flesh and Mephiston Red came in my January mags, 15 to 18. Oh, you spot the surprise now. Mephiston Red, my favourite colour. What we missed? Spect says, hey Spect. I'm not sure what's going on in chat now. Sadly, no, according to... Oh, hang on. It jumped. Nim committed self-die and is now impersonating himself. Okay. I was here. Yes, I was. Axelrod, thanks. I don't know what's going on in chat. It takes me a day to make and paint 30 of the Warhammer models. It takes me a day to paint a Warhammer model. It takes me about 3 hours to paint a single figure, so I'm not fast. Cy Reynolds says, if anyone wants any of the Warhammer World exclusives, message me directly on Facebook and we can work that out. Yeah, because Simon lives near Warhammer World. I mean, don't tell Max. Mark. Simon lives right near Warhammer World, I think, if I remember correctly. So yeah, if you want something picking up from Warhammer World that's exclusive, give him a shout. I just looked up some images from Warhammer World. Incredible, says Candygram from Mongo. McCrag Blue for the win. Mephiston Red rule, says Dad. Dad and Dave hate each other because one's... It's all to do with football. Red and blue. I don't know. Right, where are we? Anyway, let's crack on. I've lost track of what's actually happening in chat. Cy Reynolds, what sort of things do they do, says Jamie Bone. If you go onto the Games Workshop website, Jamie, does it show them on there? I can't remember where it shows the Warhammer World exclusive stuff. There might be a filter on the website on gamesworkshop.com. There's some kits and things like t-shirts and mugs and other bits and bobs and some merchandise and stuff that you can only get if you go to Warhammer World. So I think there are some exclusive kits as well. There's like a little Bugman kit. There's a small number of kits that are exclusive. You have to go to Warhammer World. There's also lots of books and things as well that are exclusive to Warhammer World. This whole last step on the instructions is just showing you what it looks like. It's kind of a waste of a whole step, really, but never mind. Moving on. Does it look like that? Yep. I've not glued my gun on yet. Yep. Oh, I've got to sand that down, haven't I? I forgot about that. Decals, hello. So... Okay, well, before we go and build the dudes, what I shall do, if you remember last week, what I did was I put some sprue glue here, or sprue goo even, to fill this little gap. I didn't fill all three, because getting to these two gaps will be a pain with these hook things here. So I filled in this one just to make it break it up a little bit. So what I'll do was fill with sprue goo, so I can now go and sand this and make it nice and smooth. And then we can do a little bit of filey and sandy, and it'll look fantastic, trust me. It'll look kick-ass if I can sand it, if I can stop it wobbling. Unsteady hands there, and I'm not quite sure why. Let's go this way, it might be easier. It's not an even surface. I'm starting with the file first, just so I can maintain a nice flat surface. If you remember last week what we did, we filled that gap with sprue goo. The sprue goo is basically polystyrene melted into Tamiya extra thin. As it dried and cured, the Tamiya extra thin flashes off and evaporates away. It's a solvent, so it just flashes away. And it leaves behind the polystyrene that was suspended in it. And of course, it also melts the polystyrene that's on the model. So it not only melts the two different parts of the model together, it also fills the gap with the already melted polystyrene. That flashes away, and all we're left with is this big bead of polystyrene filling the gap. And some overflow, which I'm now sanding away. Carefully. Where's my brushy brush? Get that one. So if I look at that in the light, I can still see a lip here where this bleb of sprue goo is, so I need to sand that away, sand it flat. I always start with the metal file for this just so I can keep things flat. It doesn't bend on a flat surface. I want to keep things nice and flat. And I try and go in one direction. I don't go backwards and forwards, because if you go backwards and forwards, that's when you mangle the surface horribly. I want to go in one direction and just keep it flat. You'll see me going at funny angles as well, as a sort of forward anglia, sort of sideways and diagonal like that, just to vary up the cutting that I'm doing into the plastic. Because this won't necessarily be a nice flat surface, so I need to flatten it all down. Okay, so get the excess off. The dust. Anybody? No. Dust. Okay, so that looks a lot better. So that's now got rid of the bead. So what I need to do now is sand this a bit more aggressively. This is just now to get rid of all the big gouges that I've put in with the file. As I've explained before with sanding, no matter what you're doing your sanding with, be it files or sanding sticks and sponges or anything like that, you always start off with the roughest grit and work your way up the grit. So you start off with a file that might be, equivalent to say 80 grit. Now I'm using this, which might be equivalent to say 120 grit. And then I'll go in with higher and higher grit, which means finer and finer sanding. The first bit you do is just purely to get rid of the thing you're trying to file away. The second bit you do in subsequent grits is purely to clean up what you've just sanded, to get rid of any sanding marks. So that's got rid of any file marks. Now I'll go in with I think there's maybe 1200 grit or something. Going with this. This will get rid of any sanding marks from that sponge that I've just used. Should, might not, might need a couple of goes. I'm just checking it against the light here. You can't see that, but okay, there's still a few little sandy scratchy bits, so what I'll do is I'll go in with this end of the sanding stick and I'll do little circles. And this is just to get rid of any little sandy scratches from this stick earlier. I learnt many years ago, and I used to colour drawings with pencil crayons. If you want to get rid of any obvious marks, like in pencil crayons it's obvious lines of pencil crayon colouring, or with sanding, any obvious sanding scratches, go in little circles and you just end up putting scratches on scratches that just hide each other. You just get an overall roughness to the surface rather than actual scratches. So we'll go with this. Now, it doesn't need to be smooth like the rest of the plastic, because it's obviously going to get primed and painted. So it doesn't need to be glassy smooth. It just needs to be scratch free, which that pretty much is, more or less. It's going to be weathering on here, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. And it needs to have the little gap filled in, which on camera here you might not be able to see. If I zoom in a little bit, let me zoom in again. Zooming in. You might not see it. You can still see the seam of the sprue goo in there, but if I hold this up to the light, you won't see it there, but if I hold it up to the light, although it's a different colour and you can see it here, once that's primed it's nice and flat. So once it's primed you won't see that, it'll just be a flat surface. I'll just double check for my own sanity. Yep, that's looking pretty cool. So once that's been sanded, once that's been primed, it's just a flat surface. Now I haven't filled in those two, as I say, because I can't get the sanding sponge and stick in there without these things getting in the way, so they'll just have to remain as they are. It just looks like a piece of panelling or different parts of the tank. It's fine. Once that's painted and primed, you won't see that. Let's zoom out again. Where's the thing? There it is. Okay, so that's that bit done. Let's have a look. Dave says, if you spend £150 in the Warhammer shop, they enter you into a draw for a VIP day out at Warhammer World. Ooh. You want to see for Foxx... Wow, can't talk. You want to see Foxx stab himself, you stay for the chat. Foxx, what did you think of the new Doctor Who? Says Rusting Customs. Oh, it's good. I like it. I enjoy it. I have no problem with it. I see a lot of neckbeards whinging about it in YouTube videos and various places. With lots of complaints and issues and things. And it's like, you know what? They're just angry because it's a woman. Let's just boil it down. They're just not happy because it's a woman. In which case, their opinion is invalid. It's good fun. The thing I like to remind people is you're a middle-aged bloke offering unhappy criticism about a children's programme. You should just shut up. It's fine. I'm enjoying it. It's good fun. I'm gutted we've got to wait till, like, you know, next year now, I think, or the end of this year for the new series. Arse. I'm enjoying it. I like Doctor Who. It's a children's programme. I treat it as a children's programme, and it's fine and dandy. Use the chickens to fuel the jetpack. I don't know what that is. It's taking ages. Go at it with the Dremel instead, says Team Inept. Hello, Paul. Like and subscribe, Team Inept. Good night, guys. Gotta go for school tomorrow, says Thy Creator. Thanks for coming in. Take care, mate. Scott Sutherland says, afternoon all. Welcome, Scott. Welcome. Jodie's great, says Paul at Team Inept. Ghost Lyle says the writing is bad. It's no worse than it's been in the last few years. It's fine. It does make me laugh when you see these people putting up YouTube videos saying, oh my god, Doctor Who is doomed, ratings are terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you actually look at the ratings, they're better than they've been for like the last 2 or 3 series. But it's a children's programme. It's for kids. So I don't expect, sci-fi on the level of Firefly or BSG or anything like that. It's a kids' programme. It's fine. It's fine. It's just silliness. I enjoy it. Right, what's next? Next we have... Oh, we can clean this thing up now. This has been dry for a little while. Now, I used to leave ages... Now, I used to leave 24 hours when I filled something with glue. Filled the seam with glue. I used to leave 24 hours. I don't do that anymore because you don't need to. You don't need to stress too much about filling seams with glue. Now, if you remember, I didn't use sprue goo on this. I just filled it with the glue that I glued it together with and squished it a little bit. And it's had, what, half an hour? Almost an hour. Well, yeah, about half an hour. So now I can go in and file it. Now, you notice I'm changing direction, but I'm still going in one direction when I sand. I'm not going backwards and forwards. The reason I like to go from both sides is because sometimes surfaces aren't even, like one's higher up than the other. So it pays just to go from both sides. And I've got to tell you, since I've been doing Warhammer, over the last sort of year or so, it's only in the last year or so I've started using files. I never used to use files, I hated them. But with the practice I've been getting on these, I'm actually getting confident now at using files for sanding, followed up by sanding sticks. And I'm getting kind of happy with what I can do with them now. It's kind of awesome what you can do with them. You can get some quite refined, smooth finishes. So I have to follow them up with sanding sticks, but I can't really get in there, but you're not going to see that anyway. Let's have a look. Get that on there. What's chat doing? Is it real? Oh, talking about James and Nim talking about James's... No, talking about Nim's Zaku. Oops. I disagree. Did you watch the episode with the empty children, Ninth Doctor, gas mask disease? Hang on. Are we saying... I'm not sure. Are you saying that's good or bad? I don't know what you're saying there. It's like anything. When you watch any series, there's always going to be good episodes and there's going to be clunkers. There's going to be nonsense and there's going to be awesome episodes. I've never expected any television series to have consistently excellent episodes every single week. Especially not Doctor Who. I mean, come on. Lest we forget the flipping... whatever those aliens were, lest we forget, can I just point out, lest we forget the Slitheen. I mean, come on. You're telling me that was good writing? That was just absolute gash. So every writer for Doctor Who has produced good stuff and bad stuff. The difficulty with this season was it was all unknown. Apart from the last episode, it was all not traditional enemies. I think once they've got past that now, they can just start using normal enemies. We'll see. It was alright. I enjoyed it. But every series has had its bad episodes. Oops. So that's that sanded nicely. Yeah, because they don't seem to stay in place. They just kind of sit in there, and if you're playing a game, it'd be falling out all the time. I'll put it in there, and I could have magnetised it if I thought ahead, but I didn't, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to glue that in. I don't mind having a permanent bolter. Permanent! Where's the glue? There's the glue. Glue and gefahren. Around that. A little bit glue. I think the big issue with the vocal outcry of a Doctor Who is that it's all from middle-aged blokes. Let's just be honest. It's all middle-aged blokes saying how they don't like the new series. They have to try and remember they're not the target audience. The target audience are children. So like I say, to expect it to be written along the lines of quality of things like I say, Firefly or BSG or, you know, insert top-notch sci-fi series here, it's aimed at children. The argument stops there. It really does. Because after that point, there's no real, you can't really, as an adult, you can't really have an opinion on that. You were right, Fox. I am now in love with C1 Metalizer, says Earl D. Oh yeah. Can I show it now? I was going to show you something, but it's put away in a box now. Never mind. Minus Zaku beads. Yeah, still talking about the Zaku. Blanca, it was really creepy. Lol, there is a scene where a medical doctor's face morphs into a gas mask and it starts chanting, "Are you my mummy?" That's a kind of old classic episode. That one. That's an old. That's the season 1 reboot with Christopher Eccles. That's a good episode. That. Are you my mummy? Paul at Team Inept says, just like Star Wars, oh my god, you ruined it all, you bastards. Well, don't watch it then, you irritating middle-aged man who's scared of female lead characters. Says Paul at Team Inept. Like and subscribe. Oh yeah, they are annoying. I think we're talking about Zaku beads as well. Yeah, I don't know. Every time somebody posts up a video on YouTube saying, oh my god, this is why Doctor Who, I'm never going to watch it again, I'm like, oh, sigh. If you don't like something, don't watch it. Move on. Right, now we have to make a dude. There's plenty more things in life today to be stressing about and angry about than children's television. Let's just think of it that way. There's plenty more important things to be vocal about in this world. This world we live in right now, with the issues that you know exactly what I'm talking about. All the things going on today, and you're stressing out about a children's TV programme. You need to evaluate that priority there, I think. I don't know. I mean, you can criticise it. There are valid criticisms. Yeah, the writing isn't fantastic. It's, so it's not... it struggles to compare to some of the more beloved franchises, but like I say, at the end of the day, you can always temper it with, it's for children. So... there you go. One flew in my eye and I went to go smoke afterwards. Really caught my hair on fire. Mrs. says I need a haircut, but I refuse, says James Larimore. I have no idea what's going on in the chat. Sometimes I look at what's going on in chat and I think, you know what? I'm just gonna get on with building my model and let you guys crack on with it. 'Cause it can sometimes be a mystery what you guys get up to in there. I'm not saying it's kind of Lord of the Flies in there, but yeah. Oh. Doodle doo doo doodle doo doodle doo doodle doo. It's smoothed. Smoother-ish. Now, I don't know if I want to particularly glue this in straight away. Because I'm sure there's probably a reason I don't want to do that. So I shall see in a moment. I'll do some dry fitting. Dry fitting! Gross Models is going to go and play some Spess, which means he's going to go and play some Elite Dangerous. Fine. If you'd much rather play Spess than watch me and then join in the chat, then fine. I'm sure you've got me on in the background. I don't mind. Spess. Don't forget, if you do play Elite Dangerous, I did set up, for no real reason whatsoever, I did set up a squadron. If Chris, if you're still watching, if you could do me the honour and type in the name of the squadron into the chat. I think it is Adeptus Ineptum. I can't remember. I didn't actually do any research into what you actually do with the squadron or how it works. So I'm guessing you need to go onto Elite Dangerous on your platform of choice and do a search for Adeptus Ineptum in the squadrons page, and then you can just join it. I've no idea what it means to be in the squadron. I said I didn't do any research on it. I just made one. But do feel free to join. There's probably some benefit to being in a squadron. Apparently the limit is 500 people. Adeptus Ineptum, says Chris. Yeah, thank you very much. I can't remember the exact name of it. I named it and I can't remember what I called it. There's little sort of rivets here. Let's count them together. But I don't want to sand them away. How's that looking? That looks pretty good. Now there is something I need to point out on this on the box art for this kit, by the way. Can I just point out on the box for this kit? Where is it? This chap here. It doesn't really come out on camera, but not only has he had his eyes painted in, I mean eyes with pupils and everything, but whoever's built this has also painted a map, and on this green bit here that you can't quite see, there's like a little red bit in the corner with some green and a blue river going through the middle and lines of text, and I'm like, holy crap, I couldn't paint that if I tried. So I have to give props to whoever painted these figures, because Jesus Christ, that map is that thing there. It's tiny. It's like that big. And he's actually painted a map on it. I'm like, it's illegal. Stop being illegal. Right, so this goes on here, but it doesn't glue in place because you want spinny. So we don't want to glue that in place. Now there's a guy that goes in the middle on a little armature. So we shall make the little armature first. And then we shall make the little fella. The wee little fella that goes on top of it. Because I want to make sure his arms are in the right place. It's sub Sunday for me, says Dad. Dad's working on his 17-foot long U-boat. Earl D's in. Welcome, dude. Being in the squadron is more than a lifestyle choice. It's flying with your brothers, drinking space grog and looting. Cool. Except I'm halfway across the bottom of the Milky Way, so you can't join me. Unless you sit in my ship, but then that's really boring because you can't do anything. Rink's near. I'm late. Oh, you're not that late. Welcome, Rinks. Right, so I need... this gets all kinds of complicated now. What's this doing now? We have 29, 35 and 34. So 29 is there. This is 29 here, you see. Little bit of cutty. And we need 35 and 34. 35 and 34. Well, there's 34. Cut it now. Get to the nippers. This is 35. So, I think what I'll do is I'll chop all the bits off for the little wee fella as well. Because I probably want to get him ready to roll. So that's that. And that's him. Yay. I like me some Warhammer do. Oh, they've got little square pegs in their arm sockets. Okay. They try and allow for the fact that you're going to get the arms in the wrong damn place. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Instead of just giving you arms and saying glue them and figure it out, they actually force you to put the arms in at the right spot. Okay, that's awesome. I like that. Games Workshop, you're earning points now. Oops. Dropping. Oh, hello. Sorry, I keep knocking the microphone. I do apologise to everyone out there with ears. Und also sie hätten gefahrten mit the shouting mouth und the eyes und the helmet, ja, das ist richtig. If I can get this off the sprue without... I do love my God Hand nippers, but unfortunately they're a little bit short for some Warhammer sprues. Right, so what we've got? So we've got little fella here and some bits. Steak and cheese sub, says Dad. To James, painting a map that small is an interview test for the every metal painter's job, says Butcher That Model. Painting a map that small is the thing that you've got a machine that makes you tiny, so you can be the same size. So when I'm painting tiny stuff, I really wish there was a machine that could either make this real life size or make me the same size as this, so it becomes life size to me. Because then painting everything would be dead easy. But such a thing does not exist, sigh. Do. Unfortunately, this guy's head is dude with a cigar in his mouth, which is always a pain, because I don't like painting the dude with this, because it looks like he's just got poop in his mouth. I may have to go into my bag of heads and try an alternative head, I think. Or maybe I'll leave it. I do have a supply of many alternative heads for these guys. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. This is one of the beauties of Games Workshop stuff. For lots of the things, they are, interchangeable, and you can have fun. Where it's just not like a socket and a peg, but it's just, like the neck might just be a round bit that fits into a depression where the neck goes, where the neck is. Which means you can swap and change then. And that's one of the advantages of these old, not necessarily this figure here, but if you buy a pack of, a proper pack of, say, 10 Space Marines or 10 Acadian Troopers, is it Canadian then? Acadian Troopers or something like that. That's when you get the option to do lots of customizing, because you can swap and change bits. Some of the more modern figures, like the Death Guard and stuff, they're monopose, they're just snapped together, easy build. You can't really do a lot to swap them all around. You can do, but it's a lot of work and a pain in the bum. Okay, put a little bit of scrappy. Ooh, a bit of a gouge. Oops. Careful now. Stay on target. Yeah. Hey Fox, how did you prevent losing an eye to the Zaku beads? I didn't, but I may have lost my mind. I didn't ping them, but they did drive me nuts. Absolutely nuts. It was more, for me, it wasn't so much the pain in the arse of having like 1,000 things that I need to sand down all of the same way, which became tedious very quickly, but it was more a case of, how the hell do I paint these things? How do I airbrush them? Like, I don't want to mount them all on sticks because that will take approximately all the time in the world. Oops. I can't remember how I did it in the end. I may have just put them on tape, sprayed them, and then turned them around on the other end. I think. I can't remember now. But I didn't actually ping them into my face, which was a small mercy. Haha, they drove him nuts. They did. They broke my brain. Paul at Team Inept's just done a thing that I do. I often say many insert X Mahoney. He says many wonderful heads Mahoney. That's a joke that I'll make every now and then. You're stealing my jokes, dude. Is it a poop or a widge? Says Paul. It's a cigar. So when you paint it, cigar, it kind of looks like he's got a poop in his mouth. A little bit of armour on the shoulder area. I don't really get that off with a knife. Luckily, with the God Hand nippers, I'm not left with that many nubs to deal with a knife. Most of them can just be filed away. They were filed away. Police Academy. Parts like that I wrap masking tape around a kebab stick so they fit snug and spray them in one stick. Yeah, I did. I toyed with that idea, but I just didn't have enough sticks. I was like, I've already got like 100 other pieces on sticks, and now I've got like 1,000. It's the perfect grade, so I'm like, ugh. So I just kind of gave it the will to live and put them on a piece of tape, flat, sprayed them, turned them all over, did the other end. It worked. It worked. It was sufficient. Ooh, now the beauty of these figures is because they're not the 300-year-old Canadian. I must stop saying Canadian. Because they're not the 300-year-old Cadian trooper figures. They've not got nasty big fat seam lines right down the middle of the head, which is nice. In fact, this guy hasn't got a seam on him at all. If you get the old Canadian... Oh, stop saying Canadian! If you get the Cadian infantry or Cadian shock troops, whatever they are, they've all got these mould lines all the way down the middle of them, because they're really old kits now. Whereas this one's got mould lines, but not massive ones. The moulding's much better, and they don't have a mould line on the head, which is nice. If I ever do make a bunch of Cadians, I'll actually make them as Cadians. Because these are all going to be like Principality of Xeon dudes, so I can't make any jokes about Cadia. But if I ever do make just some Cadians who are supposed to be Cadians, then my intention is to, on the side of a vehicle or a flag, just type Canadia rather than Cadia, and see how long it takes people to notice when I put it on the table to play. What? Why did it say... Oh... See, that cleanup for him that was it. That's him done. Whereas, I've got a little bit of a seam line there. Whereas with the bog standard, Cadian infantry, it can take you a good couple of minutes just to work around the seam lines on these guys, because they're so pronounced. There's so many of them. But that's him done there. Dead easy. Metal jewellery beads found lots on eBay that look the same and you get a bag of Tundra for a few quid. Do it, Fox. Yeah, for Canadian stands. Yeah, so at some point I will make a Cadian army and I'll just make everything say Canada. And I'll have to, of course, put maple. In fact, I'll just have to paint them. You know what? I'll just have to. What I might do is get myself some Cadians, paint them all up in red and in like Canadian colours, make the flab a giant maple leaf and have Canada written all over it, and then stick it on eBay and sell it. Somebody will buy it. Somebody will buy it. Canada stands. Okay, that's that done. Do it, says Nim. Canada, eh? Oops. Little bit of a nub. I've just seen a nub and I've lost. There it is. There she is. There she is. Let me know if my head keeps getting away. I don't know where my head is in relation to the camera, so do let me know if my enormous buns keeps coming into shot and getting in the way. A little bit of sandy. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that with a little bit of scrapey. If you've not invested in one of these yet, just go and do it. It speeds up your seam line removal process for any kits, not just Warhammer kits, but any kits. So fast. So much. It is by far one of the best model making tools I have. I've got to tell you, the seam lines on these are actually really, really hard to see. They're really nicely done. I don't know how old this kit is. I think it's like 2013. But the mould lines are just like, where they're visible, they're tiny, so you just go and it's gone. I'm really impressed. So there's not great mould lines on the armour or anything like that. I mean on the knuckles or anything. It's just really nicely done. Nicely played, GW. G-dubs. Nicely played. Where's the other arm gone? I forgot to sort out his little shoulder thing. And it would be the politest army in the... I'll start that again. It would be the... Wow. J.S. Ido says, I always knew the Cadians were hosers. And Nim Syndrome says, and it would be the politest army in the whole of history. Oh, yeah. We're just going to go ahead and shoot you now, eh? I have to give him like symbology that's like iconography that's not just a maple leaf, but maybe incorporate a moose in there as well. Instead of like a lion head or something, like a moose head or something like that. I don't know how you do it. It was quite amusing. What time are we on? 4:23, 4:30. Okay. Goose or beaver would work. There you go. Beaver, eh? They went from Japan, then Thailand, now who knows where they are, says All Day. Don't know what you're talking about there. I have to go throw an evil ring into the fires where it was created. I might be back later, says Ghostlight. Okay, see you in a bit, dude. Paint a moose rampant. Moose rampant. That sounds like some kind of piece of music. Moose rampant by Handel. So this needs to go like this. Pouring now, sir. Okay, so these need to go in here. But these are completely rotatable. It's a square peg and a square hole, but they're so small that you can't really get them to lock in place. So what I'm more comfortable doing, to be perfectly honest, is building the wee fella first. Let's get the little wee fella built first. See what happens. And same with him. The arms do lock in place, but not massively. This could be interesting. Let's find out. So instead of my usual big fat glue, I'm going to start with thin glue. Just because there is a peg. And I want it to be movable for a little bit. So let's just get that arm on there and that arm on there. Okay, now he can sit there for a second. This needs to go on there, like that. He needs to stand on there, does he? Like that, does he? So these bits need to line up there. Oh, I see. So that goes on there, that goes on there, like that. Okay, so those bits in his hand line up with them. Almost. But not quite, but almost. Yeah, almost, not quite. They sort of almost line up. Okay. I see where that goes now then. So that goes on there and that goes on there. So we can glue him on there like that. Oops, too much. Touch of glue in there, touch of glue in there. We can have you stand there like that for a second. I can adjust the arms a little bit while he's standing there, stood standing. Oops, that can come up, that can go up. It's not 100% an easy, a massively perfect fit, but it's a fit. So that sits there like that. I've not glued him to this base yet because I don't want to glue him in place like that. I just want to get him holding this part of the armature. Have him where he's basically is you can't really see on camera, but I'll zoom in a bit. Hang on. I don't know if you'll see, but in each of his hands there's like a little end of the trigger, end of this armature here in each hand, which is part of this crossbar. So I've lined those up and glued those in place. So at least he's kind of in the right place now. He's not glued to the base, so I can easily take him off. He's on there. It's cool. I like that. He's on there. So the I usually do a trigger, but it's not really triggers, but those bits are lined up anyway. Nicely. Let's leave that for a minute so it can set, so I can manhandle it more. Now I could glue these cross pieces on, but that's going to make kind of painting him a bit of a pain because they're going to get really in the way. I've still got to get down there to paint his chest and stuff, so what I might do is leave them off for the moment. And then when it does come time to attach them, I can just put some glue in that bit there and insert them. ka-ching like that. I don't need to glue them to him. I just need to glue it there, and then I can just have him fully painted and these fully painted apart from that bit and stick them on and glue him, and that way I can still access all of him there to paint him. It's kind of a handy idea. Excellent. Now, it's not a seamless glue there. It's not absolutely seamless on that little corner bit there, but I can either get round that by either the fact that nobody's ever going to see it anyway, or paint it a slightly different colour of whatever colour it's going to be, to suggest it's like maybe paint the middle bit metallic and those bits on in his hand black, like it's a grip, which explains the big panel gap, the big panel line which is there anyway. So I'm going to leave that there for a second, put those bits in there. Oh yeah, what I might do is get him painted first and then I can stick these on, and then I can probably paint those in situ, maybe, or paint them before they're glued. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I don't really want lots of things sitting around as sub-assemblies, but or can I just paint him anyway? So I'll just glue them on anyway and be damned. I don't know. Zoom out, Fox. Yes, I'm going to zoom out now. There you go. Handles Moo Sire. I like that. Goose and Beaver made me shoot soda out of my nose, says James Longmore. Paint a Moose Ramp. We've done that one. Moose Rampant sounds like an American United alternative band. Getting close to sticker time. Carl will be in soon. I'll just say we're going to give some stickers away in a minute. Let's see if Carl turns up. Right. Don't want to glue those bits on now. They will get in the way, but will they be the most in the way thing that I've ever painted? I don't know. Maybe not. Can't decide now. That goes on there like that and locks into there. If I put the other one on, can I get in between and still paint his areas? Oh, ping. Oh, just ping. Oh, arse. There you go, that's the one on there. That's one soup and another soup. Go on, get on. Get on, you little... Oh, you know, there's always one in there that wants to be awkward. There's always something that wants to be a pain in the bum. Do. You go on there like that. And that one could fall off. That'd be brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Look, I just want to do a dry fit. Stop messing me about. Don't mess me about. Somebody did something. Kiss My Whip has subscribed. Thank you very much, Kiss My Whip. I like the name. Kiss My Whip has subscribed. Well done. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, so you can make sure to get any notifications when things like this go live. I do some other live streams every now and then. Now, if I do that, can I get in there to paint? Yeah, I can get in there to paint. Let's just not be such a big girly about it. Let's just glue the living crap out of it. There we go. Isn't it better we just get on and do stuff rather than fart about and mull it over? Sometimes you just need to do things. And when it comes to paint them later on, I'll suddenly have this moment of massive regret where I realise there's one bit I can't get to and I'll be like, oh, sadness. Never mind. Never mind. Right, I need to let him sit for a moment. I shall stick his head on in a moment. Or shall I stick his head on now? Stick his head on now. There you go. Why not? Doodaloo. Doodaloo-doo-doo-doo. Doodaloo. Oh, his head's kind of lolling. Like he'd been on the sauce. There we go. Lovely. So we have one little fella built and ready to be painted. Yay! Little guy on his control stick, which again isn't glued in, it's just, it can be taken out for paintage, which is more than handy. Right, let's have a quick look at chat. Oh. Bet he does. Talking about Carl. Space Hamster ZH. Well, looks like I got here at the right time. Hi guys, you're just in time for stickers. Are you sure you're not Carl? His widget area, Fox. No. Yeah, I won't be able to get near his widget area, I bet. Cool. W0 million from mining just now. W0 million. That's a good number. It's almost a number. It's half a number. Half of it's a number anyway. How much is W in actual numbers, Chris? Joke ruined. 20 million. I was excited. Never mind. Yes, Chris has been playing lately. He's been doing all the mining. The new mining thing where you put little glowy things onto asteroids and then they explode and you get bits of asteroids and you get void diamonds or void opals or something. I don't know. I've not got any of that equipment. I just like travelling. I like exploring. Right, should we do some stickers? Yay! Sticker time! So today we have 3 stickers as always. We have zwei Model Making Go Sticker und also ein Scaly Models Sticker from Dad in chat. Dad, you're one of your mods. Dad, this is Scaly Models. He's not yet put any content up on his YouTube channel. We're moaning him into doing it. We're muttering at him a lot. But yes. So we have 3 stickers. Sharpie of writing. We need 3 words to write on these stickers today. Gross Models has 222 millions. I've got 100 and something millions, although I spent 10 on making a squadron, so just sign up for the squadron. For one of them, we'll just write the word wedge. For this, oi Dad, post some content of the U-boat, says Cy Reynolds. Yeah, Dad, you could be filming all that. For this one, I shall add the word grumpy. I like that word. Grumpy. And for this one, I shall add the word butt fumble. I don't know what that means, but it's a fun word. I like it. So wedge, grumpy, and butt fumble. So I'll just let that dry for a second. So it's the usual giveaway nonsense. I will open my email. Probably a good idea. If I actually look at my email and see if I've got any emails. Let's have a look and see. Turn my keyboard on. I will ask a question, and the first person to get the answer in chat will win one of the stickers. So before we do anything, you do need to make sure your chat and video are synchronized and up to date. So hit the refresh button on your browser and also drag the slider across the right hand side once it's refreshed. Otherwise, maybe a lag between the video and the words being spoken. We have some questions received, so cool. Now, Dave, you know, if I ask you a question, you can't actually enter and win a sticker, even though you weren't supposed to win one last week because you got told off you weren't supposed to. Spoon. That's the thing from YouTube. It's boring me now anyway. Questions for Sunday's live stream. Okay, we had some questions from Cy Reynolds, and he sent us easy. He sent us included difficulty levels. He's got easy and Google required. Right. Okay, we have 3 Warhammer questions. I'll just go through all of these 3. Get these 3 out of the way. Cy Reynolds has sent 3 questions in. They're all Warhammer questions. One is easy, apparently, and 2 are Google required. So are we all ready? Let me go back to the chat. Make sure you're all there. Getting low storage on PC, sadly. James Longmore, good running to grab coffee with the missus. See you guys soon or next week if I don't get back in time. Dude, have a good one. Sending some questions, Fox, now with less grammatical and compositional errors, lol. Or, if you like Dave, just forget to add the answer completely. Which is always a winner. Yeah, well, we'll do size questions today. We've got the rest will wait for. We'll keep them to one side for the next episodes. Wow, that whole sentence just was a train wreck. Widge, Grumpy and Butt Fumble, also known as Team Inept. I like that one, Paul. Well done. I'm not saying who's who. Right, so first question. Everybody ready? Everybody refreshed and dragged. Refresh and drag. Refresh and drag. I like that. Refresh and drag. Right, first question. All Warhammer questions. This is easy difficulty. Ready? Name the first founding legion of Space Marines. Go. Now remember, I don't assume these are correct. I go off whatever answer is in the email. So if it's the wrong answer, I don't know. So who was the first... I've got to read it again now. Name the first founding legion of the Space Marines. Which was the first legion of Space Marines, basically? Osric 9000 says Astartes. That's not a legion. That's the name of the Space Marines. They are the Adeptus Astartes. But the first legion. That's easy, says Gross Models. Legion of Doom says that's not real. Dark Angels, no. Ultramarine, no. Adeptus Widge, no, and he spells it wrong anyway. Sally James, Widge, he's hedging all your bets. Legion from Series 5 of Red Dwarf, Charlie's Angles, says Gross Models. Legions Astartes, no, Astartes is the generic name for, is the fake Latin name for Space Marines. It's the Legion like, Emperor's Children or Imperial Fists or Space Wolves, they're legions. Say chapter then, chapter might be a better one. Legio 42 Maximus, no. Luna, no. First Legion, no. I don't think I'm just going to get this one. This isn't easy. Yeah, I don't think this was an easy one, Si. Si says, damn it, this is an easy one. Salamanders, no. I guess Google not required means don't Google this or you'll get it wrong. I might have to knock this one on the head. Transhuman, no. Lunar Wolves, no. Black Legion, no. I'll give a countdown from 10. Then we'll call this one DOA. Are you ready? Get your answer in quickly. 10, 9, 8. Think Greek. 7. Brian, no. 6, 5, 4. Space Wolves, no. 3. Wouldn't be one that I just read out. 2, 1. No, well, I think that was DOA. I did say Space Wolves and Imperial Fist as 3 of examples, but they weren't the actual answers. Okay. Clues in the name too, he says. Right, well, the answer is, and I did count down to 10. Oh, hang on. No, actually, my apologies. Before I do that, we do actually have the right answer. Somebody got in there just at the last minute. Rinks Near got in with Alpha. Alpha Legion, yes, the Alpha Legion was the first founding legion of the Space Marines. So Rinks Near, you got in there just under the whatever it is, not under the radar, under the tape. Well done, Rinks. You need to choose. Do you want Widge? Do you want Grumpy? Or do you want Butt Fumble? Which one do you want? Let me know. And you can have one of these. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Wesley Han says, hey MMG, how's it going? Oh, very well, thank you, Wesley. Do join in. We're giving stickers away. I'm just waiting for Wink. Everybody in the entire world is waiting for Rinks to say which sticker he wants. He wants Widge. He wants Widge. There we go. Okay, so that's yours. I shall write that down. I still have a whole mess of... I've lost my pen now. I'll put it away like a spoon. I do have a whole mess of stickers still to send out. So if you've been waiting for them for the last few weeks and before Christmas, don't panic. I've just not done them yet. Rinks, you just need to send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com. It's kind of hidden by the white instructions, which doesn't help. Where is it? fox@modelmakingguru.com with your name and your address, and tell me you want a Model Making Guru sticker. And I'll get that sent out to you. Well done. Next, we have... Dad says, Butt Fumble sounds about right for mine. Right, next question. Now, that was the easy one, remember. So this is where Google is required. Right, ready? It's another Warhammer one. See, this will be Google territory, unless you happen to know your Warhammer lore. Question. Who resides on the demon world of Medrengard? Go. Who resides on the demon world of Medrengard? I'm not bothered about spelling, as long as you get the right name. Who resides on the demon world of Medrengard? Jar Jar Binks, no. Thanos, no. Piers Morgan, yeah. No, Piers Morgan lives in the world of his own arse. Jar Jar, Trump, my mate Victor, Iron Warriors, Traitor Legion, Unkar the Reborn. How about Mike the Liar? Mike the Liar likes to live on Mandringard. No. Nobody's got it right yet. Remember, I go off whatever answer I've been sent. I don't know if it's actually the right answer or not. It probably is. Dude, Cy Reynolds says, clues, it's a Primark. Is it? I give up. My answer is Oprah, says Space Hamster. Bob the Builder. Scott Sutherland spells it wrong but says Perturabo. He says Perturabo, which is close enough. Yes, the answer is Perturabo, who is one of the Primarchs. I didn't realise he was one of the Primarchs. Silly name. Perturabo. So well done, Scott. Do you want Grumpy or Butt Fumble? If you win 2, you can have both. So let me know which one you want. Butt Fumble, which is a dad sticker, or Grumpy, which is one of my stickers. Let me know which one you want. Everybody will sit and watch and look at you until you decide. Everybody's looking at you right now. They're all looking at you. Everybody on the internet is looking at you. I have to type faster. Dad's watching. Everybody's looking at you. All the eyes in the world on the internet are watching you. They can see that you're not wearing pants. Better take Dad, says Scott. Okay, so Scott, you want that one? Puffin Master. There we go. So Puffin Master. I'll just put, because I'll forget my own jokes, I'll just put Scott. There you go. So you know what to do. Pop me an email with your name and address and say you've won a dad sticker, and I'll get that out to you. If you have sent me emails before because you've won stickers in the past and you're still waiting for stickers, because I'm a bit behind on sending them out. If you have sent me emails before saying I've won a sticker and you haven't had it yet, send me another one anyway. And like I always say, if you've won 3 stickers from me and I've only got 2 emails from you saying I owe you a sticker, I'll send you 2 stickers. So I use my inbox as my to-do list. So if I see 5 emails saying I owe you a sticker, I'll send you 5 stickers. Right, so we have one left. Grumpy. There you go. So well done. Now, one last question from Cy, and this is another Google required. So given that the easy one was Google required, this will just be like, yeah, this might be the easiest one actually. Okay, so everybody ready? You might not. Okay, ready. Here we go. Which legion travels on the capital ship Terminus Est? Go. Which legion travels on the capital ship Terminus Est? Which I assume in Warhammer Pig Latin is the end. Terminus Est. Which legion travels on Terminus Est? I work for the Royal Navy and butt fumble would always be a good dit, says Don McKenzie. JS Idaho is straight in with Death Guard. Well done, JS Idaho. You have won yourself a Grumpy Model Making Guru sticker. Now, I know I do have other ones to send you, I think. I've got other stuff to send you. But, yep, send me an email. Foxx@modelmakingguru.com. I always have to cover it up so you can see it. Foxx@modelmakingguru.com to all 3 of you. Telling me that you have won whichever sticker you've won. I'll keep them to one side anyway, so I'm actually sending them out to the people I owe them to. But, yeah, well done to the 3 of you. Now, what I'm going to do, I need to go for an enormous wee. So I'm going to put on the holding music just for a moment while I go for an enormous wee. So give me a second. I need to figure this out now. I've got to do volumes and everything. Where's me holding music? We shall start from... I'll give you some cheesy music. So I'll be back in a moment. Hold on. And we are back. Thank you for waiting. Sorry about the terrible, terrible music. Terrible music. It's lovely music. You love it, really. Right, where are we? What's chat doing? Holding music because he can't hold it. Gross models, yes, very well done. I like that. Lol, the irony. Dad will be walking around with refreshments. Dad will be walking around with sun-kissed Kiora, king cones, and toffee poppets. Does anyone else feel like they're giving their gumplet a manicure when they are sanding their fingers? Yeah. No, because I don't build Transformers, says Jamie Bell. Oh, you should do, Jamie. It's good for you. It's all the fibre in your diet that you need. Right, so that is now on there. All lined up, so he's hunky-dory. I should be able to pretty much paint him anyway. Get to most of his bits that I need to paint, I think. Shouldn't be a problem. So that's him done. I now have to build. I have to build the sidey bits. Let's just get rid of that window there that I don't need. Sidey bits. Align gunner to both control pods. Oh, I didn't read that bit. Oh, wait, have I done something wrong? I don't understand. What have I done that I didn't, what I did, what? Align gunner to both control pods. I just need to attach to something once he's in there. I don't know how that works. Oh, I see. He goes on there like that, and then there's no connection between him and anybody else whatsoever. Okay. So I have to line him up so he's nice and straight, which he pretty much is. That's weird. I don't know what that means. Moving on. Let's just ignore that and pretend it's not there. So let's do the side bits. Side bits. Your screen still says patreon.com. Wait there. Oh, they mean this one. I've changed the picture on the other one. I've changed the picture on this one. But not on there. Okay. Cool. Thank you for the notification. I shall change that momentarily when we're not streaming. I forgot about that one. I don't use it very often, so... Yes, the URL was wrong on my holding screen, is what he's saying. 11, 13, and 28. So 11, which is there. 13 and 28. The one thing about these GW kits is they do tend to over-nub things. I mean, I know you want to have things attached to the sprues in a hardy and tough fashion. But there's being hardy and tough, and then they're just kind of taking the mickey, basically. 13 and 28. So I want 13, which is... this one here. Like that last bit didn't need like 36 different attachment points. It didn't really need that many attachment points. And which one now? 28. 28, which is a wiggly wheel. Wiggly wheel. There we go. What are these wheels actually called? You know, like when you get a valve and it's got the turny wheel with the wheel with the handle sticking up and you turn it like that. What are those wheels actually called? Are they just called valves, or is it just a valve wheel, or what do you actually... Is it a spigot? What do you actually... What's the actual name for these kind of little turny wheels? Somebody tell me in chat. Okay. Now, anyway, on to important business that we need to discuss. And this is, of course, what everybody's having for their dinner tonight. Or this evening. Or, if you've had your dinner, what did you have? If you're in the part of the world where you've already eaten your noms. I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. Not yet decided. While I'm doing the little sandy bits, you can tell me. Chicken and Marmite sprouts. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Didn't find any of them Marmite sprouts. When we went to our local Iceland, all they had were the sprouts with bacon, which is fine. It's not a problem. Because bacon, obviously. But it would have been nice to try the Marmitey ones. Can't knock sprouts. They are the best. Sprouts are awesome. I think I might have to have something with sprouts tonight. You got me thinking about sprouts now. Sprouts. I had roast chicken for dinner. For tea, I'm going to have crackers and jam with Viennetta for pudding. Ooh, Viennetta. Good God, there's a blast from the past. Viennetta, I've not had one of them since I was a kid. Paul says, Dad, don't make me bombard you with recipes. Dave says, had a pot noodle for lunch. Don't know what she who farts in bed is doing for dinner. Pot noodle. Which pot noodle did you have, Dave? There's a right and a wrong answer. The right answer is green, obviously, or Bombay Bad Boy. The wrong answer is any other pot noodle. So think carefully before you answer. Don't have to put you on the naughty step. Zip, 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 zip. I have returned, says Ghost Lyle. Welcome back, dude. Pineapples for all. Pineapple for Alice. Yay. It's like something you get out of a cracker, but without the bit on the bottom that makes it into a spinny thing. Bombay Bad Boy is disappointing. Chow mein is the best. I do like the chow mein, but not as much as green. Bombay Bad Boys are disappointing. Well, the only reason the Bombay Bad Boy is disappointing is because kebab ones taste just like Bombay Bad Boy, which was disappointing. So it's kind of not the Bombay Bad Boy's fault, but the kebab one was more disappointing because it tasted. That doesn't really make sense, I know, but I was disappointed. When I first learned they're going to do a kebab-flavoured pot noodle, it was like all the angels smiled down on me. I even did a comic strip about it because it was way back in the day. And then I tasted one, it's like, oh, it's just a Bombay Bad Boy. Okay, that's a bit pants. I was most saddened. It was not as impressive. Ooh, my new fuel scoop does have 1,000 things per thing. Ooh. I scoop fuel at every star I get to. At the moment, where I'm in the Galaxia, which is in a place with the things, I'm just exploring. So I'm exploring for making the money doing exploring, and also because I enjoy exploring. So I've got my filter set to do what have I got now? Non-main sequence stars and F-type stars. Because F-type stars are the most likely to have Earth-like or water worlds, apparently. And I am finding a lot of water worlds, Earth-likes and such, and, bodies that are actually worth something rather than just icy. If you go for, like, K-type and M-type, they just tend to be, like, lots of icy bodies, which is not worth anything. So, yeah, you get lots of Earth-likes, you get lots of water worlds, and very high metal content worlds that are worth something, and terraformable ones, which could be a good source of income. And a non-main sequence stars is basically neutron stars and black holes, where the main star is actually a black hole rather than a star. So that's what I'm rocking at the moment when I'm doing my explorificating. So I can just refuel every star, because every single star is refuelable, is scoopable, because you can scoop F-types. I've not found any. I've not been directed to any neutron stars yet. I've basically set a waypoint and said, just send me to non-main sequence or F-types, and it's pretty much F-types at the moment, which is fine. And I went from last time I went to a space station, I went out for about, in real world terms, probably about 5 or 6 days. In game terms, I don't know how long it took, but I went out for a while and came back, and I had about 8 million credits, and then I cashed in all my astronomical data, and I went to about 150 million credits. So, yeah, it's not a fast way of making money, but if you enjoy exploring and just travelling out there, pootling about on top of planets, and driving around and picking up things, it's fun. I found an old colony ship and things. It's good fun. So you can make big money. It just takes a long, long time. That's what I'm enjoying. You see, just pootle along, go from each system to system. The new scanning thing means I can go in and see what's in there. Is anything worth looking at? No, great. I can just get the basic scan and then bugger off to the next one. Whereas before, I'd have to, I could get a rough idea of a planet, but I'd have to look at the picture of the planet and say it looks like a water world, or it looks like a high metal content planet, but I don't know if it's terraformable or not. I'll have to go all the way to it and then find out it's not terraformable, so therefore not worth much. Whereas now I can find everything out about it before I even leave the main host star. So, I'm up for that home delivery food. Says Dad, no, sigh Eve fell asleep playing Eve. No, sigh Eve, I fell asleep playing Eve. What? I don't. Oh, I'm guessing Sai says, you ever tried Eve Online? Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried Eve Online, Fox? No, no. I don't like to do thinking. I've seen Eve Online. It's far too much spreadsheet management. At least whenever I've seen it, it doesn't interest me at all. Plus, I don't PC game. I don't game on PC because my PC is not designed for that. My PC is. I spend all day on the computer doing work, so the last thing I want to do is then play games on it. So my Xbox is for gaming and my PC is for worky stuff. And it's not designed for that anyway. It's designed specifically so that I can do like rendering and wow, I can't get my words out. Ugh. Hang on, let me just sort this out in a minute. I've got to figure out where this goes. Where does this go? That side. Ah. There we go, that makes sense then. There she is. There she is. Not so crippled as we were led to believe. Ugh! Arse. Let's try that again, shall we? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm aware of EVE Online. I've obviously read about it over the years, but it seems too much of a spreadsheet management thing. I'm not a big social player, I'll be really honest. I'm not a big social player, and I don't know what it was that sold me about. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the bum now, isn't it, for sticking? Look, just get in there. There we go. I can't remember what it was that sold me about Elite Dangerous. Something just made me want to go and try it. I don't know what it was that made me want to go and try it. It's the same with Fallout, actually. Many, many years ago, about 2008. I was always a first-person shooter guy. First-person shooters were my bag, dude. They were my bag, man. I used to play first-person shooters. I was a Halo man, through and through. And then one day, I found myself in the game store buying Fallout 3. This was back in 2008. It was only a year old. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what it was that led me to go and buy Fallout 3. In those days, I used to hang around, GameSpot and stuff, and read reviews and Kotaku and things like that. But I don't recall at any point, particularly reading something that made me feel like I had to go out and buy it. I don't remember going, oh man, I have to get this game. It looks awesome. I don't remember that at all. I just remember being like sitting here one day and thinking, you know what? I should give that game a try. I'll go and give that game a try. I don't know what it was that inspired me to go and do that. And yeah, and then obviously I got Fallout 3, and that blew my tiny feeble mind completely. And opened up a whole new world of gaming that I had never even considered. And I kind of walked away from the whole first-person shooter thing in a bigly fashion from that point. Because that was my first exposure to, first-person game with a big open world. I'm like, wow! It's not just linear, go here, shoot that, go here, shoot... I mean, it was, but not quite as obviously. And I was amazed, because I'd never played a game like it before. And here I was, 300 or 400 hours in, and I was still just randomly exploring. And I remember at the time I had I was playing the game. I'd got out of the vault, and then from that point on, ignored the storyline completely, other than when I had to do it to progress things to get, to move along. But left the vault and just wandered around, found Megaton, and then just pootled about finding things. Finding all the quests and the world quests, and those all bits and bobs. And my mind was blown. Because, I was playing it, and it's like 600-700 hours later, and I've actually gone through 3 Xbox 360s at this point. 300 or 400 hours later, 500 hours, it just went on and on. Suddenly, I'm still finding stuff, and I'm like, here's a doorway, what's in here? Oh, there's a big complicated underground network of tunnels, and there's an entire quest to do in here. And it was amazing. It blew my mind. To the end, I got a good couple of thousand hours out of Fallout 3 on the first playthrough. And after that, a little 16, 15 or 10 hour single player first person shooter campaign just was bleh. Why would I want to pay full price for that when I've just paid full price for this and I've got 1,000 hours out of it? So, yeah, it blew my mind completely. And from that point on, it's been I've just found just the standalone first-person shooter kind of disappointing. I've still played them. I went through Wolfenstein, and obviously I played Destiny, but that's kind of got a bit more to it. I can just pop in and shoot things for a bit in Destiny and Destiny 2, and I don't know, just something about it. Then Fallout New Vegas came out. And I enjoyed it, but I preferred Fallout 3. I'll be honest. And then Skyrim. And that was mind blown all over again. Because I had tried Oblivion when I first got an Xbox 360. Because remember, in those days, when the Xbox 360 first came out, Oblivion was one of the killer apps for that console. And I was many years before I tried Oblivion, and I've been I don't understand any of it, none of this makes sense, what the hell, and I just kind of uninstalled it and never tried it again. And then I got Skyrim, and I'm oh, because I'd played Fallout, and Fallout made sense, I knew how to play Fallout, when I tried Oblivion the first time many years before, I had no understanding of critical hits and critical damage and how that kind of game actually worked. I played Fallout, and it kind of introduced me to all that, and I figured it all out. So then going into Skyrim, it kind of made sense. And Skyrim was awesome. So, what we're doing now, yeah, that's what I wanted. So fell in love with Skyrim. And like I say, just regular bog standard first person shooters just lost their appeal after that. It was whatever. So anyway, long story short, I don't know what made me go off and try Elite Dangerous. I think part of it may have just been that I was kind of bored because there was nothing I wanted to play. I was playing Fallout 4, but I'd kind of done all the quests and there was nothing really left in the landscape to do. It was still fun, but I was kind of bored. I was enjoying Destiny, but again, it was kind of more of the same stuff. And I was just I wanted something new. I don't know what made me go and try Elite. But yeah, it was great fun. Anyway, that was a long, drawn-out tale, wasn't it? My apologies. Let's have a look at the chat in a second and see what chat is doing. Let's have a look. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Paul. You missed all the sticker giveaways. Dope. A space sim game somewhat like Elite Dangerous, as far as I know, says Sai. Eve Online. It's more of a... Eve Online's less personal, I think. From what I've seen and little bits I've seen. It's not like you're in the cockpit of a ship flying around. It's more like... You see people playing Eve Online, they've got lots of spreadsheets open and lots of graphs and things. It's more like I don't know. It's not like you're in a ship and you're flying it kind of thing. I don't think. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's what put me off. Whereas Elite Dangerous, get my words out. Elite Dangerous is basically first person, so you see it from your point of view in the cockpit of the ship, flying around. Space sim kind of thing. No getting rare messages though. See what I've done there? Don't know what that means. There's a lot of thinking as Dad indicates. As Fox indicates even. Is anyone getting snow in their area, says rare message found. No getting rare messages. Hang on, you've lost me completely. Oh, wow. Chat is breaking my brain. No, we're not had any. I'll shut up. More coffee. Also, welcome rare message found. That confused me. Wanted to be unique. I've been found rare. Fallout 3 New Vegas are awesome games. Fallout, yeah, they are. I did like both of them, although I preferred Fallout 3. For me, I know Fallout New Vegas was Obsidian and was more like, you know, the original Fallout games because they're the original creators of Fallout and so on and so on and so on and yada yada yada. But I just found there was less to do. To me, after spending like 800 hours in Fallout 3, just literally wandering around the world, finding things to do and ignoring the storyline completely. You know, everywhere I went, there was something interesting to do. Every door I opened had a quest of some sort, and even if there was no quest, there was a series of terminals in a building that could tell a story that was interesting. And then you go to Fallout New Vegas, which, yes, had more advanced faction systems, and yeah, it had more customizable ammo and things like that, which was interesting. But I found the landscape not as interesting, because you'd walk for miles and there'd be like just, I know it's the Mojave Desert, so of course there is, but I don't know. I just found that there was less environmental storytelling. It was kind of boring. You know, I could walk halfway across the map and I'd just be walking through a dust bowl with a few big giant ants. Whereas in Fallout 3, if I'd walked that far, there would have been like tons of things to do. There would have been like, you know, SATCOM arrays or bunkers or doorways and buildings to go in and people to see, and yeah, I don't know, the environment just didn't work for me on Fallout New Vegas. It just bored me. I think I finished it. I think I just forced myself to get to the end and finish the actual story. I can't remember. Gundam UK says hi. Hey dude. Elite Dangerous drew my attention because I played it was back in my Commodore days. Yes, my friend used to have it on his IBM PC back in the 80s. I wish I could get into Fallout, but it's just too clunky and ugly. I'm sorry, says Space Hamster ZH. Depends which one you play. The old Fallout 3 is, by today's standards, it's first person, but you've not got iron sights, and that makes it quite hard to play. Even when I go back and play it now, I'm like, oh, could they just, oh. So when it was rumoured that Bethesda were going to re-release Fallout 3 in the Fallout 4 engine, I'm like, oh, that'd be mint. Because now we can actually play it properly with first-person aiming and stuff, because that'd be brilliant. But they never did, of course. They released Fallout 76, and let's just take a moment to laugh at how that went. So yeah, it's hard to go back and play Fallout 3 now. But, you know, 10 years ago, good God, 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago when it came out, my God, Miss Jones, it was fantastic. It was amazing. Right, what's chat doing? The Outer Worlds looks interesting in the Fallout sense, says Axelrod. Yeah, the Outer Worlds is the Obsidian's next game, which is very kind of Borderlands meets Fallout. However, they have said it's not a big, massive, wide, hundreds and hundreds of hour long campaign like you get with Fallout. They've said don't kind of expect that. Expect good things, but not such a massive sort of, you know, kind of thing like that. Which is a shame, but then, hey, you know, baby steps. Hey Hey Fox, I went into Warhammer Studios today and there says Juan Ferreira, and they let me paint and build a model. A Warhammer is cold, but it seems really expensive for those tiny models to jump into the hobby. Yes, this is something that non-Warhammer gamers often say. I think by cold, I think he meant cool, by the way. Seems really cool. The difference with Warhammer, and as Team Inept says, the main reason they're expensive is that you're buying a game, not just a model kit. The difference with going and just buying, say, a gunpla or a model kit of any kind is when you go and buy an other model kit, like a gunpla or, you know, Airfix or whatever you buy, a Revell, could be anything. When you buy a model kit, the price is based on how much it costs the manufacturer to make that kit. How much they've had to spend on research and development, developing the kit, designing the kit, making it all look fantastic, making sure it goes together, all that kind of thing. How much does it cost that company to make that kit and do all the R&D and development and everything else? With Games Workshop, so Warhammer, it's a bit different. With Warhammer kits, obviously the company itself, Games Workshop, has the same expenses. They still have to pay for R&D and development and design and everything else. However, the difference with Warhammer is, even though you're just going in and buying it as a model, which is absolutely fine, it's not designed as a model. These aren't actually designed just to be models, although they are. It is a tabletop game. Warhammer and Warhammer 40k are both tabletop dice games, or tabletop miniature games. And although it's not kind of this way across the board. What am I using that for? Although it's not this way across the board, with Games Workshop, the way the models are priced is not based on how much plastic is in the box or how much it costs to make the kit at all. It's actually based on how expensive is it to use that model in the game. Now, by that, what I mean is everything you build, so it's a vehicle or a person or, you know, whatever that unit might be it a monster or a dude or a vehicle or anything like that, it has a points value, or more recently a power value. Let's stick to points. Points is easier to understand. Everything has a points value. So one single lone, guardsman, like a single dude, might be 5 points. A big vehicle like this wyvern might be 250 points. Basically, when you have a game of Warhammer, you and your opponent, you agree on a maximum points value. So you might say we're gonna have a battle with a points ceiling of 2,500 points, which means basically you can field whatever units you want, so vehicles, characters, dudes, infantry, whatever. But all the points for those units must add up to whatever you've agreed with the person you're playing with. So if we say, let's have a bit of a battle. I'll do Space Marines, if you do whatever you want to do, and we'll play up to 1,000 points. You're limited by 1,000 points. So if I field a tank that's 250 points, I've got 750 points left. If I then field, say, an Imperial Knight, that might take up 400 points. And then the rest of the points I might use for infantry, but I can only field all the things I've got that take me up to 1,000 points or less. I can't go over 1,000 points. And the way it works is the kits that are more expensive tend to be, I need my brush, tend to be the models that cost more points in the game. So for example, this wyvern, this might, I don't know the points value for this. Let's see if it says on here. Does it say on here? It says wyvern. Doesn't actually say. Okay, it doesn't actually give you that information here, but never mind. Let's just make it. Let's say it's 250 points, and the kit might cost me 30 quid. Whereas an Imperial Knight, which might be worth say 450 points. I'm making these figures up. Might be 450 points. That kit will cost me 85 quid. Now, there's probably as much plastic in this as there is in Imperial Knight, maybe a little bit less. But in terms of complexity and size of model, this is, if you were just looking at it as, say, like a Revell kit or an Airfix kit, this will probably be worth a little bit less than an Imperial Knight in terms of how much plastic you get. But in the game, Warhammer know, or Games Workshop know, that you can have 3 or 4 of these in your army. But if you've got Imperial Knights, for most games, you might only be able to have 1 in your army. Because if you have like 3 Imperial Knights, you've got no points left to put any other troops in there or any other vehicles. So they go off, how many of these are you going to buy for your army? So if you've got like an Imperial Guard army, you might have tons of these things, and like you might have a pack. You buy a pack of 5 Imperial Guard for like 20 quid. It's 5 dudes, but to be any use in battle, you need like 50 of them or 100 of them. So they keep the price on those low because they know they're low points value units. You need to buy a lot of them. Whereas you go for an Imperial Knight, you're going to maybe have 1, maybe 2 in your army. That most times you're going to field maybe 1 of them. So you're not going to buy as many of them, so they need to charge more, so that if you're only ever going to buy, say, 1 or 2, they at least get some money off you. So the units that you're going to have, you know, the what they call blob units, the ones that you need thousands of just to throw at the enemy, they charge peanuts for those. Whereas the ones that you might buy 1 or 2 of in your entire lifetime, they'll charge you more. And it works off that, is that how rare they are on the battlefield, how much it costs you to field them, how many are you likely to buy. It's weird in some ways that some small kits can be very expensive. I've got a single figure that cost me 25 quid. And it's just a single dude. It's like a dude that size. But he's quite an expensive unit to field, so they won't sell many of them. You'll only ever buy 1. So that's the wrong piece. What am I doing? Oh, is the right piece. Is it the right piece? I need 24. 24. There we go. Yeah. So something that I'm only ever likely to buy 1 of, they'll charge more for. Whereas Imperial Guard, to be any use on the battlefield, I'd need to have 100 of them. So they're not going to charge me 40 quid for 10 dudes. When I need to buy 100 of them, they'll charge me 20 quid. So it does mean that, yes, some small kits can work out expensive. Like, as I say, single figures, you can get a single figure for the same cost as an entire vehicle. But on the same side, on the other hand, as it were, you can end up with some quite big kits not costing much at all. And for that, I would say an Imperial Knight is, 85 quid? Whereas a Valkyrie, which is an Imperial dropship, which is like that big, it's like this big, and it's got wings and everything. It's a massive kit. If you were just to present me with 2 models and I looked at the Imperial Knight and the Valkyrie, I'd say, well, the Valkyrie should be worth a lot more than the Imperial Knight because it's twice the size. However, the Valkyrie is like 45 quid. It's 10 more quid than this little tank. So there are situations where, although the pricing is kind of weird, it can actually work in your favour sometimes. It's kind of as illogical as... It's a bit like critical hits in Fallout. In that it makes no sense in real life that if I shoot someone, I do 100 damage. But if I shoot someone and they happen to be looking the other way and they don't know I'm there, I'll do 500 damage. That makes no sense at all. But yet, in RPGs, it makes perfect sense. Same kind of thing with Warhammer pricing. In the real world, charging half as much for a kit twice as large makes no sense at all. But in terms of the points value for things, and how much it costs you, and how much you're likely to buy in your entire Warhammer career, it makes perfect sense. Which does make it weird for anybody who wants to build Warhammer just to make a cool model kit. But like I say, there can be times when it works against you, but times like with the Valkyrie, for example, or the big Orc truck, which is basically dirt cheap for what you get, where it can work in your favour. So it is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that was a lot of talking, and probably the chat's jumped about a mile since then. Simon Reynolds says, "I get you, lad. You have a content creation rig, not a gaming rig." Yeah, it's going back to what I was saying about my PC being no good for playing games. It can just about play, say, Fallout 3. If I drop the settings down, it's not designed for 3D graphics processing, really. Plus, the other thing is, I can't stand gaming on PC. Just purely simply because I'm an idiot and I have no computer skills whatsoever. And if I'm given the choice of insert a disc, turn my console on, play a game, or insert a disc or download a game, install some ini files, make changes to the BIOS, do this, maybe change this because this driver's not quite right, you need to change this file, get this patch from it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. PC gaming is too much faff. I just want to turn it on, turn on the game, go play it. So, yeah. Let's have a look. JS Hanno says, speaking of dinner, I need to get the slow cooker fried up and figure out what to make. Be right back. Oh, slow cooker, yeah. You basically want beef and leafy crap, and that's all you need to think about. Beef, leaf, and juice. That's all you need. Beef, leaves, and juices. I bought Perfect Grade Strike, so I try weathering, says Rare Message Found. Cool. Just remember when you're doing weathering on Gunpla, there are certain products I don't recommend that you use. Or that if you do use it, you're very careful with. Just keep in mind that Bandai plastic isn't baked. So if you go slapping thinners all over it, or, you know, enamel washes or anything like that carelessly, and it gets into any little nooks and crannies where there's a joint, it can damage the plastic. So be very careful. I tend to stick to, you know, I'll do pin washes where I get an enamel pin wash, delicately put it into a panel line carefully, but I won't just slather it all over if I can avoid it, unless I can be very careful, because that's when things go horribly wrong. So be very careful with the anything that involves washes where you're using thinners. So if it's a wash that's water, paint thinned down with water, that's fine. If it's a paint thinned down with glaze medium, that's fine. If it's a paint thinned down with thinners, and that can be alcohol, lacquer, anything like that, it might damage your plastics. It's not worth the risk. So just be careful if you're getting into your weatherings. That's interesting. Is that not the same? No. That doesn't even... Shows in the instructions here. Let me zoom in for you. Zooming. Shows in the instructions here little bits that were already in there, in this bit of cowling, there and there, except they're totally not. They're not actually there at all. Well done. Well done, that man. Idiot. Never mind. That needs to glue in there anyway. So many tiny things to paint in there. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, so just be very careful if you're weathering Gunpla, especially a perfect grade that you spent lots of money on. Just make sure you're not... I mean, you can use things like oil paint gunk washes because they're not thinned, so they're not running around everywhere and getting into nooks and crannies. It's when any thinners get onto plastic that hasn't been protected by a primer. If it gets onto any exposed bare plastic, that's when it becomes a problem. So, like, just, you know, normal paints are fine. Gunk washes and things, you can do dry brushing, you can do pin washing, but if you're just slathering stuff all over, don't use anything that's been thinned. I really wish I could get into forward on that one. Right, the chat's just jumped. Let me find where we're up to. I got a Dirty Great Giant this week for £32.50, cheaper than some of the far smaller hero units, says Paul at Team Inept, going back to the Games Workshop pricing. Yeah, you know, Juan says, yes, I know, but it's still an expensive startup. Yeah, it's not the cheapest of options for models. Nom. But, you know, you get out of whatever you put in. Valkyries aren't that big, they're about 15 inches long, wingspan about 10, aren't they, from memory anyway? I haven't got one built yet, but yeah, they're about that big. They're nice and sizey, they're bigger than that. Hey, the Orc truck is cheap, says Gross. I don't know. There are multiple. The Wyvern is 103 points with its regular weapon loadout of half hull-mounted heavy bolter, says Butcher that model. There you go then. Had to dig out the codex to find that out. Yeah, this is one of the older kits where they don't actually give you a proper stat sheet. They just give you this half-arse thing here with some figures. I think this was pre-edition, 8th edition. You don't get the data card anymore. Scale model vamps in. Welcome, scale model vamp. I'm currently assembling some individual track links, says Osric 9000. It is tedious and irritating. Yes. I was going to do a handle, wasn't I? What time are we on? 17:29. Very strange things going on with my PC, by the way, at the moment. Not that you need to tell you, but I'll tell you when if there's something to talk about. The other day, I have 3 USB ports on the front of my computer. I have, and maybe somebody can answer this for me. I have a USB 2 port, another USB 2 port, and a blue USB 3 port. Now, the other day, I was in the process of connecting my webcam to the USB 3 port, which I usually do. Or, well, connecting that on my phone, or whichever one I was connecting anyway. And the USB 3 port exploded. When I pulled the USB cable out, it kind of pulled the socket up with it. So something inside broke. Obviously, it became detached from the shell for the PC. And it doesn't work. So the USB 3 port is balked. I need to replace it. So I was like, oh, well, not to worry. I've got 2 other USB ports. Only USB 2, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's fast transfer. I'm not really fussed. So that's fine. However, turned my computer off, went to bed. Next day, got up. All of a sudden, I've got no internet. I'm like, well, that's nothing to do with the USB port. It's weird. And then I noticed that my system clock, was completely wrong. So I'm like, oh, well, it must just be a coincidence that my battery on my motherboard that keeps the system clock up to date must just happen to have died. So I'm like, okay. I'll reset the clock. So I reset the clock just to test the battery. Turned it all off. Turned it all on again. Clock was wrong again. I'm like, okay, so it is the battery that's gone. So I've got the clock now set to manual. So every morning when I turn the computer on, because if your clock's out of whack and got the wrong date and time, you kind of either won't be able to get onto some websites or you'll just lose your internet because it doesn't all hook up to the router and stuff correctly, as far as I can tell. Very weird. So I manually set the clock to the right time, restarted the computer, and lo and behold, it got the internet perfectly. I was like, okay, cool, fine. Not a problem. Turned on the Xbox. No, hang on. So that worked for a bit. Anyway, turned off the computer for whatever reason, for one reason or other. Came back a bit later and turned it on again. I lost the internet again. I'm like, oh. So I'm going to have to reset the clock every time I turn the computer off for more than, a few seconds. That's going to be a pain in the arse. So I just happened to turn the Xbox on, and I also had no connection on my Xbox. And I've got basically my Xbox and PC go into a hub, and then the hub is connected to the router in a different room. So I'm like, oh, so they're both on, but at the same time, both of those were off, but my iPad, which is on Wi-Fi, was connecting to the internet perfectly. So I'm like, well, I know it's not the router because I'm getting Wi-Fi, and there's an Xbox downstairs that was connecting wired as well. So I know it's not the router because Wi-Fi works. It could be the Ethernet cable that goes from downstairs to upstairs that's giving me a problem. And it just seems to coincide with the problem with the clock and other things. So maybe it's not the clock on my PC, maybe it's just my Ethernet cable. However, then resetting the clock fixed the broadband again. So it's very confusing. Somehow breaking a USB port meant that my entire internet fell over and my Xbox couldn't connect anymore. I don't understand it. So I reset the clock on my PC, rebooted my PC, and my Xbox connected to the internet. Very strange. It's all very confusing. The moral of the story is I don't understand any of this nonsense. I just want things to turn on and work, but never mind. It's all very strange. What are you doing? Sounds like it may have shorted out the BIOS battery, which sets the BIOS clock, and in turn the BIOS memory retains the set time for Windows. Could be. That's what I thought. Because basically the socket, USB socket, is in the top of the thing, and it pulled up. And if something's gone wrong there, that could have shorted that out. When the USB port broke, I got it. That could be it. But it was just very weird how that killed my clock, which killed my internet connection, which I've had before in the past, many years ago, when my battery went and I had no clock. It took me ages to figure out when I couldn't get on the internet. And then suddenly I had internet connection, but I couldn't get on websites because I was getting security alerts. And I realised it was because my battery was flat and my clock was wrong. So, but why that would suddenly mean that I then have problems connecting my Xbox. Now, I figured with the clock being wrong, it would mess up things like the IP address for the computer or the MAC address or something, and it's trying to connect to the router, but the router's saying it's Wednesday the 3rd, and the PC saying it's Tuesday the 2nd, and there's some mismatch. But then why that would affect my Xbox, which is on the same hub as the PC, but wired as well? It's very strange. I don't understand. It all seems to work now anyway. I just need to, at some point, replace my USB socket in my battery. Right, I need part number 25, which is a dingly dangly lever. 25, which will be in a random place with no logic ascribed to where it appears on the... There it is. It's like one of them things you get in a train station where they pull the switching things, levers for the crossings. I like that. I like the look of that. It's like, you go to what's it called when they have the tracks and they have the guy that pulls all the levers, and you've got the handle that you hold and then the trigger that you clamp like that, and you go ka-ching, and then pull it. It's one of them anyway. Remove the battery, remove the CPU, and remove the GPU, and start it and then shut down. Says Scale Model Vamp. Or do the flathead screwdriver reset way. None of that means anything to me, because I have to get somebody to come and look at it. Luckily, one of my very good friends knows what he's doing with PCs, so if I bribe him with noodles, he'll come and sort it out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, all I need to do in the morning is turn the computer on, manually set the clock to today, and it works. The difficulty is, though, even when I set the clock to today manually, it seems to then lose time instantly. So at like 9:30 this morning, I would have set the clock to 9:30. At 1 p.m. today, I'd look at the clock and it would say 10:05. I'm like, well, either it's kind of running at half the speed, or it's just randomly losing time somewhere. It's very strange. But it works. I get on the internet. You've got the stream coming on now, so that's all that matters. I don't really care if my system clock isn't right. If the worst I have to do is manually set it every day, I can live with that. It's fine. Pip's gone on strike after the Great Spaghetti War, and she has ordered KFC. Oh yeah. Signal box, says Rusting Customs. It's hard to know without looking myself. Sounds like a hardware issue. Obviously, it's my area of expertise. Deep sounds like BIOS battery, but packet transfer between hub and PC will misalign and fudge the network. Yeah. I've not actually turned my Xbox on for a little while, so for all I know... See, all I'm doing is setting the clock every morning, and my PC works and gets the internet. I don't know if my Xbox still connects. I must find out. It's all very confusing anyway. All because the USB socket popped out and broke a little bit. I don't know. Who decided it would be a good idea to have everything connected in a computer? This is silly nonsense. I don't know. Right, so that's that. Or Simpleton Wave, replace the battery and check if it still persists. A Scale Model Vamp. Aye. That's a good idea, except where is the battery? What does it look like? How do I find it? How do I replace it? Where do I get one? Yeah, I really don't know about computers. I'm useless with computers. I kind of get my brain around how to do things, but I don't actually know how to do things. Ooh, that's going to be... Oh! I've got to stick this switch onto this bit here, but there's no actual thing to glue it into, no hole. It's just glue it and basically spray and pray. Glue it on and hope it sticks. That's a bit harsh. A bit harsh and vague. I've now got to sit here for ages and sit and wait for that to dry enough that I can trust it not to fall off. Ours. Time we on 20 to 6. Nearly dinner time. It's a watch battery, you can't miss it, Fox, says David Butch, that model. It's a flat 5-volt battery that you can use for watches in any hardware store. So simple a monkey can do it, but you can never find a monkey when you need one, says Spid. Big silvery round thingy on the motherboard. Well, I kind of guessed it was one of those. I just didn't know where on the motherboard it would be. Listen, I thought I thought it was an amazing achievement when I was able to replace my fan that was screaming. And I opened up my computer and replaced the fan, and that was a moment of great triumph for me. That was a moment of great triumph, second only to the day I started on solid food. I mean, that's how ineffective I am with computers. Literally, that's quite an amazing thing for me. Changing a fan. I can kind of logic my way around a problem and kind of roughly figure out, well, if it's doing this, it must be that, and therefore this. But the actual ins and outs and specifics and technicals, I wouldn't know. Hey Fox, says Rare Message Found. Have you ever done the Millennium Falcon 160th before? I don't know if I should pick that up. It's expensive, lol. It is on my to-do list. I have it downstairs. My channel sponsors, which you can't... I'm still zoomed in. Nobody told me that. Oh, my channel sponsors, eModels. Sorry about that. I was zoomed in for like an hour then. Nobody told me that. Oh, my channel sponsors, eModels.co.uk. They stock it, and I'll be building one for them. It's going to be a little while because I've got to finish the Strike Gundam, which I'm finishing up this week, hopefully in the next few days. Then I've got a little U-boat to do for E-models, and then I've got to do the Sazabi, the Master Grade Sazabi, and then I'll be doing the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon. So probably the next, I would guess, couple of months, I'll be doing one. And yes, absolutely, it's worth it. I've built the Fine Molds Millennium Falcon, which is the proper glue-together kit. Built a couple of those, and it's a beautiful thing. So absolutely yes, you'd have to save up for it because it's not cheap, but it's worth saving up for because it's a big. Basically, it's the most accurate Millennium Falcon model kit you're going to get. Aside from, I mean, the biggest model kit you're going to get, the biggest Falcon kit you're going to get, is the D'Agostini part work. Well, that's 900 quid, and I don't recommend that. How does that actually attach on? Does that just sit on top, or does that glue in a specific way? There's no attachment points for that. Or does it? Oh, exit glues into the side pieces. Ah, side piece. But yeah, you'd have to save up for it. But I've not built it yet. But I know my Bandai. Knowing Bandai, I can imagine it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous kit when it's finished. So I would say, yeah, save up for it. I can imagine it will be fantastic. But yes, it is expensive, but it's a perfect grade, so you're always going to pay more. Don't forget you get lighting and stuff with it. Just make sure you get the one that comes with the decals as well as the stickers, not just the one with the stickers, because that's going to be a bit crap. Just have stickers. To just have stickers would be a bit rubbish. Cool, you don't even have to glue them, they just kind of sit in place. That's quite cool. They're snap fit enough that you could just leave them like that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step down to Electric Avenue. No, what I'm going to do is, so it all goes together like that with the little fella on there. Now I need to obviously be able to paint inside that little front panel. So what I might do is take him out, glue these in place, but not glue this front carapace in place, because it's actually sitting there with friction by friction anyway. So I think what I'll do is I will glue these in because they're going in rather nicely. Very nicely, in fact. Ooh, got to be careful because that's a hole in there. Get that in there, get those in there. A little bit of glue. Don't mind if I do. Get these glued in and just push fit the front panel. goes in there like that. That goes on there like that. You see? There it goes, eh? Most excellent. You know a kit is well designed and engineered when it actually just pushes together instead of gluing. You don't have to glue it. It's a sign of good engineering. See, what I can do now is if I combobulate this onto here, but don't glue it, I can make sure it's all lined up nicely. So it's all lined up on there, so I know this fits perfectly. These are all in the right place. Bit of glue on there. I can't put it on there yet because it'll stick down. But it means that when it comes to painting, I can just pop this front panel off, paint the inside there with that beautiful display screen, and I'll have to show you a nice trick for doing that display screen. And then when it's finished, I can plonk it back on and glue it in place if I need to. I might not need to, but I shall leave that to set. Okay, there's one more dude to do. What are we on? We're on 1:45. We did tell you about an hour ago, says Butcher, that model. I think that was when I was zoomed in before that, wasn't it? But then we got used to it. Candygram from Mongo. I can't wait to watch Foxx build the Bandai Falcon. I can't wait to build it. It will be a while off, but rare message found says my first perfect grade was the Exia Gundam, which was a fun build, especially the lights. Yeah. I can't say I'm that enamoured of the Exia. It looks a bit simplistic to me. It needs more skin, more outers, but it's all right. I've done and not yet finished the perfect grade. I've only done one perfect grade so far, and I've not finished that. And that was the Zaku, which hasn't yet been completed. It just needs weathering. Yeah, it's a whole different story. We'll get this dude built, and then we'll call this episode done. But again, with the perfect grade Falcon, again, just be cautious of the methods you use to weather it. When I do the build free models, when I built my Fine Molds Millennium Falcon, which was a proper glue together kit, there was a lot of techniques I used on that I could not even begin to consider using on the Bandai one. Like one of the things I did to give it a slightly dirty, grubby look, amongst other things, one of the things I did, I'll take it back about the seam lines on these guys, by the way. He's got a big massive one right down the middle of his head. Arse. One of the things I did with the Fine Molds Falcon was give it a wash of Tamiya Smoke, which was basically Tamiya thinner with a little tiny bit of Tamiya Smoke paint added. It's a great weathering technique to give a little bit of dirt and dust. But I can't do that on the Bandai one, because the moment I put a wash of thinner and paint onto the Bandai one, half the pieces will crack and break under stress because it weakens their plastic. It's specific to Bandai. Their plastic is not baked. I don't think any other manufacturer will give you that problem. It's just Bandai. So I won't be able to use that technique. I'll also have a big think about how I do any kind of filters or streaks, well, filters, because I can't go slopping oil paint thinners all over it, because again that might actually knacker the plastic. So I have to get creative, I think. Did you just say they had a seam line on his arse? No, but he doesn't actually have a seam line on his arse. No, I said he does have a seam line right down the middle of his head. Arse. Earlier on, I said that the guy had no seam line down his head. It was brilliant. Yeah, this guy has. This is old school Imperial Guard. So I take it all back. Oh, it's got one of them little antennae on his head, and I know it's just going to break at some point. It's going to snap off, and I'll be sad. I've got scores of dudes, like especially Tempestus Scions, where they've got a little antenna on the headset, and it's just long snapped off because that one's already been bent now. Then I guarantee you, That won't be on there by the time it gets painted. It'll just gone. It will not survive. I think Bandai really outdid themselves with the Perfect Grey Falcon. I'm thinking my next kit will be one of the huge Zoids that look like a lion or a tiger. Yeah, they're supposed to be very good. I've never done a Zoid. A lot of people have said you should do a Zoid, and I will do it at some point. But I will be honest, because people ask me about like Gunpla and stuff. I'm fading away from the love for Gunpla purely because yes, they're great fun to build. You don't have to worry about construction too much, but the limitations of what you can do with them because of the plastic really becomes a major pain in the butt, and it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. It drains the fun away because there's lots of techniques I'd love to use that I can't, like a smoke wash. Looks fantastic, and I can't do it. And I'm kind of getting a bit sick of having to account for Bandai's weird plastic. It's frustrating, and it ebbs the joy away, and I'm getting to the point now where, I mean, I've been off Gunpla for a bit just because I got burnt out on them and wanted something different, but it is to the point where I'm like, I just want to weather it in a way that makes sense, but I can't because I've got to give it special consideration because it's Bandai. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It does take the passion out of it somewhat, a little bit. You know, if you just make nice clean Gunpla, it's not a problem. If you do nice clean builds, but if you're like me and you do your weathering and not clean builds, it's a major pain in the bum. It's like, oh, I could do some oil filter. Oh no, I can't. Oh, I could do some oil paint streaking. Oh no, I can't because of thinners. Oh, I could do. I mean, you can. You just have to be super careful. But so many techniques. I could just give it a thinned wash of, oh no, wait, I can't. It's right pain in the bum sometimes. And it is giving me pause for thought every now and then. I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, do I actually want to give up Gunpla? Give up on Bandai kits just because they're both easier and more fun and at the same time more hassle in a lot of ways. Kind of a catch-22. Yeah, the build's more fun. It's a lot easier, but also at the same time, yeah, you can't do a smoke wash or many other techniques. Which to somebody who loves their weathering is kind of a bit of a pain. I don't know. I don't know. You need to do some Sigmar stuff too then, just to make sure you don't get burnt out on 40k. Sigmar? How very dare you. We'll get to the point where I've got nothing that I want to build in 40k and they'll be like, yeah, I'll do some Sigmar. Because at the moment, I said this last week, but I did a survey at Patreon. For those that don't know, if you'd like to help support this channel, you can support this channel on Patreon. Patreon.com/modelmakingguru. My patrons actually keep me going. This is my job. I do this for my job. This is my income. And while I've not been able to actually build anything I can sell lately, I'm surviving on my Patreon income. So it's more than welcome. But yes, I got a thing from Patreon saying, hey, if you do a survey, we'll put you into a draw. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do a survey. Did the survey and said, congratulations, you're one of 5 people that have won some Amazon gift vouchers for $100, which is about 80 quid. So I've got these 80 quid vouchers and I'm like, I can go and buy some Warhammer stuff. Yay! I haven't yet because there's lots of things I'd love to buy on the Warhammer store that aren't actually on Amazon. I'm like, oh, fudge. Like, I thought I could get a Bane Blade, but nobody's actually got a Bane Blade for sale on Amazon, apart from a couple of people who've got one for like 250 quid, and I'm like, what? I don't think so, mate. It's an 85 quid kit. You having a laugh? So I'm going through and it's like, there's nothing I really want to get, which is a bit strange. So we'll see. We'll see. But I don't know why. There's a few things on there on Amazon where there's what was it? There's one thing. It was like a Necron thing, piece of scenery, 700 quid. I'm like, what? And I don't know if it's just because it's something that they haven't got anymore and they want to make sure that it's still available. It still shows us on their website, but you can't buy it. Or what it is. It's weird. But if you just do a search on Amazon for Warhammer 40,000 and filter it to the highest prices first, you'll see stuff on there that's like hundreds of dollars or pounds that's actually only about 30 or 40 quid in the actual real life. It's like, what? Or, you know, the Dark Vengeance set, 700 quid. Well, it's like, well, it's the old pre-8th edition anyway, so it's not really any use to anybody apart from the models. But why is it 700 quid? What? It makes no sense whatsoever. I've lost an arm somewhere. Where's his arm? Where's his other arm gone? He's armless. There's your other arm. Have I not cut his other arm off? There's his other arm. Games Workshop. Why I order. Rare Message Found says, what type of tank is that? I wonder if you do commissions from viewers sometimes. This is well, it's either, depending on which gun you put on it, a Wyvern, or if it's got the anti-aircraft guns, it's a Hydra. If you give it the mortar cannons, it's a Wyvern. I'm going to do it both. I don't do commissions, unfortunately. I've done commissions in the past and it's basically just far too damn stressful. It causes too much stress. I do offer sort of commission builds to Patreon supporters, but even then I'm kind of regretting that because it's basically still a commission and it's a lot of stress, and it's not. I decided that commission building wasn't for me. It's just, I'd much rather build stuff and sell it than build stuff on commission. It's too stressful. Like I've explained this before, but there was the classic story is that I did a commission of a master grade heavy arms, which sounds great. So, yeah, great, whatever. And it's a beautiful kit. Can't get this glue open. And I was building it, and at the very end, I had the whole suit was built, and I had the little tiny standing figure of Troy Barton. I've said this before, people will know this story, but I had the little tiny standing figure of Troy Barton, this big is, and my intention was to glue him to the display base. The little seated figure was already in the cockpit, but I thought I'll glue the little standing figure, paint him up and stick him on the display base so it just looks kind of cool and awesome. And what I did was, I just painted him, and I dropped him onto the floor, and then accidentally rolled my office chair over the figure. And he exploded into 1 trillion pieces. And I thought, oh bother. I didn't think that, I thought something else completely, but yes. And that was that little figure destroyed. So what I had to do was basically, make that fall off, I had to basically buy the whole kit again. So 45 quid that kit was. I had to buy the kit again just so that I could use from it the little tiny figure to put on the display base. And at the end of it, I had a 45 quid kit that I had no intention of building because I just built one. And that was out of my own pocket. And that's the problem with commissions. It's the big problem. Nothing can go wrong. You can't afford for anything at all to go wrong. And if it does, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. Right, so this needs to go on there. Not sure how this arm goes together now. That goes on there. And because, you know, you can't afford to make a mistake, I need to, there's a seam line on there that I didn't get rid of. Arse. Oh well, we'll sort that out later. Yeah, because you can't afford to make a mistake. If you do make a mistake, it's just incredibly stressful. It's just a nightmare. So I decided after that point, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do commissions anymore. It's just too. How does this even attach? I see. Don't know even how this attaches. It makes no sense at all. It just wasn't worth the stress. Oops. Ping. Okay, so that's that on there. The fiddly little fella. I've left a big seam line on his epaulette that I'll need to sort out at some point later on. Fantastic. Well done, that man. Well done. Arm on there. Let's put his head on first. Let's give him a wee bonce. Now, some people may enjoy doing commissions. I realised at that point it's not something I want to do. And it's aside from that, you know, it's the thing of you can't always guarantee that the thing that somebody wants you to build is going to be something you actually want to build. You know, it might be the 5th time you built that thing anyway. Hello. Once you built something about the 3rd time, you kind of lose the will to live a little bit. So, now his arm is supposed to go up to his head, like he's doing a Gears of War and putting his finger to his ear while he's talking on the radio. I'll be buggered if I can get it to fit without knocking his head off. Goes on there like that. I'm not going to say never. It might be that someday somebody contacts me and says, hey, would you consider a commission build of X? And I might be like, you know what? I actually really do fancy doing that. But I'd have to think about it long and hard. And it probably wouldn't end up with me saying yes, but you never know. Right, so that's him done. So, I think that's going to do us for today. We've gone a little bit over, but only by a minute. Just wanted to get that little dude done. So we'll get that in there. Get him on there. He's got nothing to go on yet, so we'll just put him to one side. There we go. So it's looking pretty cool so far, because I've got to put the big cannons on the front. Have a quick last look at chat before we call it quits. Wind them up and watch them battle. You need to do some sick. Oh, we've done that one. The expensive stuff on Amazon and eBay are sellers who don't actually have it. The software bots mass list other people items with the markup. Yeah, there's probably a reason they do it. It's just annoying, that's all. Dave's off for KFC. Thanks for coming in, Dave. Rare message found says R.I.P. Barton. I don't know what that is. It's Foxx. It's huge, Foxx. It's a full tabletop of scenery. That's why it's so expensive. What, Baneblade? It's a tank. Gross models. Team Inept. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, I think that's going to do us. There's nothing more new in chat. Don't forget, of course, once this show is finished, Chris over at Gross Models, as he says in the chat there, he does his little... wow, get my teeth in. He does his own little YouTube stream. His only... Wow, hang on. Let me just... Coffee, hang on. Let's try that again. Don't forget, our little friend Chris over at Gross Models does his own Warhammer live stream on the Sunday evening. They got it right this time. 8 PM over on Gross Models channel. Team Inept has posted a link up for it on youtube.com/grossmodels/live. But just go to his channel, click on Gross Models, and you'll go to his channel. 8 p.m. he does a little Warhammer stream where he's working on a Taurox Prime at the moment. So go and check that out. But it just remains for me to say thank you to everybody who's watched today while I've stuck some shizzle together. We'll get the guns and stuff finished next week. Once this is built, I don't know what's next. Then we'll have to start painting something, I think. Oh, dear God. Painting something live on telly. Stay tuned this week coming up for the... we'll get these guys painted in the next episode of Conquest finished. The Strike Rouge, I'm probably not going to do a final episode. I might take some photographs, but I've got it mostly done. It's very, very delicate. I'm reticent about putting it all together to take some photographs and then taking it all apart again. I will see. I don't know. It's so far behind. I just need to get it done in a box and on the way to Jordan. So I might not get anything up this week for that. I might just finish it and send it off. I don't know yet. So we'll see. Failing that though, once that's done, I will make a start on the tiny U-boat, which will be the next E-Models build. So that should be for the next week or two. And of course, we've got Warhammer Sunday next Sunday. So stay tuned. I'll try and get some more content. Now these are getting out of the way, should be getting some more content coming up on the YouTube. So until next time, it just remains for me to make a sound. So my audio thing is set up. Let me just ignore this for a moment. But yes, I just have to play this because my audio software goes to sleep. It's ridiculous. Anyway, yes, so we shall see you next week. I shall see you next week. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care of yourselves. Don't forget, of course, like I say, if you'd like to help support this channel, you're more than welcome to. I do count on my patron support. So this is my income when I've got nothing up for sale at the minute, so I'm depending on my patrons to pay my bills. So if you'd like to help me out, you can do it. It's patreon.com/modelmakingguru. All support is more than gratefully accepted. Anything from $1 upwards, you're absolutely just brilliant. Just whatever you'd like to do, if you can help out. You don't have to, but if you can, that'd be brilliant. If you can't, don't worry. Just remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification. I need to go now because I can't even speak anymore. I'm starving. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. But anyway, I'll stop. I'm waffling. Do you know when your energy suddenly goes like that? Right, I'm going now to get some food. I'm starving. Take care of yourselves. I shall see you shortly, if not next Sunday. But until then, go make something awesome. Go be awesome, he says, wobbling the camera like this. Earthquake. I've got the power. I can use my psychic power. I can't really. I'm just wobbling the camera. I shall see you next week. So go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next week, adios, amibas.